Vil du gerne på en episk grupperejse med dine venner? I virkeligheden vil det nok koste milliarder af kroner. Men heldigvis findes Void Crew. Hvor den vildeste co-op-oplevelse i universet. Hvor du og op til 5 af dine venner kan flyve, skyde, reparere og udforske forskellige galakser i den perfekte kombination af storslået action og grineren vanvid. I besætning på et rumskib, som gennem ren dyrket samarbejde skal holde jeres fartøj og hinanden i live. Indtil der kommer en ny bølge af fjender, et nyt system bryder sammen, eller en holdkammerat kommer til at åbne luftslusen. Så sammen dit crew og blive en del af et spilunivers udviklet lige her i Danmark. Det er nemlig meget billigere end at gøre det i virkeligheden. Men det kan dog koste dig venskabet. Så gør ligesom os i Arkaden og spil Void Crew på din PC, Xbox eller PlayStation.
Hej kære lytter, og velkommen til endnu en fantastisk episode af Arkaden. Vores Gamescom-dækning fortsætter, og I skal virkelig glæde jer til det her afsnit. Den her episode indeholder et af de sjoveste øjeblikke i Arkadens historie, som jeg har aldrig grint så meget i hele mit liv. Uden at afsløre for meget, så kan jeg sige, at det indebærer Nicolaj, der fucker op. Hvor meget fucker han op, tænker du? Virkelig meget. Men I skal også glæde til det her afsnit generelt, for vores dækning af Gamescom er så massiv, at vi har besluttet at dele vores Gamescom 2025-tur op i 3 afsnit. Det her, det er del 2, og i denne her episode snakker vi blandt andet med udviklerne bag Indiana Jones and the Great Circle, der taler om deres kommende DLC, The Order of Giants. Vi taler med udviklerne fra Ninja Gaiden 4, The Outer Worlds 2, det kommende Lego Batman-spil Legend of the Dark Knight, udviklerne fra The Rogue Prince of Persia, og ikke mindst The Blood of Dawnwalker og meget, meget mere. Hold nu kæft, hvor skal I glæde os den her episode, for vi snakker meget og meget mere end det. Så lad os komme i gang med showet. Hej alle sammen, og velkommen til Arkaden, episode 225 blev vi enige om. Arkaden, det er Danmarks største gaming podcast, og det er kraftedeme også Danmarks største spilrelaterede medie. Og hvis der er noget tidspunkt, hvor man virkelig føler det, så er det hernede i køllen til Gamescom, Nicolaj. Det her, det er episode 2 af vores Gamescom-tur, og også dag 2 på Gamescom. Man kan nærmest høre det på min stemme. Jeg er lidt groggy. Ja. Både fordi det er fucking morgen. Det er tidligt. Så meget her. Jeg har i hvert fald ikke sovet. Og det går for helvede, mand. Det er også hårdt. Jeg er en gammel mand. Hvordan har du det?
Jamen, jeg er også lidt i tvivl om det er min stemmebånd, der bare er slidt, eller om jeg har en infektion her. Jeg tror, jeg har en infektion. Altså, det er virkelig sådan... Det startede lidt i går med lidt kriller i halsen, og nu er det bare udviklet sig til glasskår i halsen. Fedt. Så det er fedt. Ja. Det skal nok blive godt.
Vi har en bil fuld på bagsædet. Der sidder Daniel Mølhøj, Emil Øgaard og Michael Engelbrecht. Daniel Mølhøj, hvordan har du det?
Jeg har det fantastisk. Jeg føler mig opladt. Fra i hvert fald dagen i går, må jeg sige. Ja. Det var en lang dag i går, og med mange oppe- og nedture. Men positivt stemt i dag. Ja. Der er en fed dag foran mig i hvert fald. Ja. Det bliver mega fedt.
Hvad med dig, Emil Øgaard? Er du stadig spændt og klar til Gamescoms strabasser?
Ja, jeg tror torsdag bliver nok min sådan bedste dag spilmæssigt, tror jeg. Der er mange mega fede spil, jeg skal prøve.
Hvad skal du i dag?
Jeg skal prøve Tides of Tomorrow. Og så skal jeg prøve det nye Lego Batman sammen med Daniel. Ja. Og så er
der interview med Lego Batman, eller er det bare hands-on?
Vi kan nok godt prøve at få et interview med dem.
Hvis I laver et interview, så filmer I et lite podcast.
Det gør jeg.
Sådan der. Fuck, man. Fordi jeg må faktisk indrømme, alle vi mere eller mindre har snakket med, de har, skal vi lige...
Den vej.
Vi skal til højre, okay, fair nok. Ja, vi sidder og kører bil. Det kan lytterne, eller seerne ikke se. Eller seerne kan se det.
Seerne kan se, at vi kører.
Det kan ikke. Der er ingen, der kan... hold kæft, det er i morgen. Hold nu op, mand. Shit. Hvad hedder det? Og Nicolaj, han har GPS. Han er GPS-ansvarlig, og ikke helt så ansvarlig igen.
Sørg altid for, at vi når frem, der hvor vi skal være i tide.
Ja. Vi har interview med Blood of the Dawnwalker, Nicolaj. Du var lidt negativt stemt i går. Hvad fanden skal vi spørge ham om?
Om de har fået lov af CD Projekt Red og bare at stjæle deres... at stjæle deres spildesign. Det må da være lidt akavet. Det er lidt akavet, når I møder jeres gamle kollegaer fra CD Projekt Red.
Ja. Hvad hedder det, Michael Engelbrecht? Har du nogle gode... Hvad skal du i dag? Det er jo sådan, du er en businessman. Du er nede for at lave business.
Så jeg skal lave business i dag.
Fedt, mand.
Vi skal jo ikke sætte ord på, hvem vi skal snakke med, men vi skal snakke med nogle super spændende studier igen i dag.
Ja, og vi har jo lige et møde i går aftes, og det er jo det, der sker hernede til Gamescom. Ting sker lige pludselig. Så der var lige et andet meget spændende møde, der lige landede i går aftes. Klokken 12.
Jeg tror, det var mere end 12, da du skrev.
Er det rigtigt? Ja.
Men ja, det bliver også super spændende.
Sindssygt.
Ja, helt bestemt.
Jamen, spændende. Og altså, prøv at nu, det er jo bagsædet, der er også et bagagerum i den her bil. Det glemmer man nogle gange, og der smider vi altså mennesker om. Men kun dem, der fortjener det. Og det er selvfølgelig Kasper Pedersen. For
vi kommer her fra bagagerummet.
Han er så beskidt. Han er så beskidt, Kasper Pedersen. Han skal gemmes væk. Hvad glæder du dig til i dag, Kasper Pedersen?
Jamen, som sagt, det spil, jeg glæder mig allermest til, det er også det, jeg skal opleve i dag. Det er det der Final Fantasy Tactics, The Evil East Chronicles. Så det får jeg noget hands-on her senere i dag. Ja. Det ser jeg frem til.
Det bliver fedt. Det var jo sådan en remaster, ikke også? Altså, det er gammel pixel art-stil og så videre, eller hvad?
Men det, der er lidt specielt, det er Square Enix, og det er første gang, de har gjort det her. De havde jo mistet koden til det oprindelige PlayStation 1-spil. Så de har jo måttet sådan set bygge det op fra bunden af.
Sindssygt.
Men de kalder det stadig en remaster, fordi at historien, gameplay, det kommer jo til at være det samme, ikke?
Ja. Det er spændende, fordi Square Enix er jo ikke specielt gode til at lave spil, så det, de skal bare starte forfra.
Ja, det kommer an på, hvem det er, man spørger. Men nej, de har haft en rimelig stor nedgang her på det seneste. Men hey, vi må heller ikke glemme, at det havde Capcom også en periode. Og det er jo så nogle af de mest populære lige her for tiden.
Jeg synes, det er spændende, det Square Enix gør. Altså, de var jo nogle af de første til sådan at åbne op, og så bare bryde op med PlayStation, som de jo indtil videre har haft de har haft et eksklusivitetssamarbejde med dem. Og det der med at se barriererne blive brudt ned på den måde, altså det er jo noget, der bare kommer os gamere til gode. Hvis man har siddet og hørt episode 1 af Gamescom 2025-episoden, så spurgte vi jo lidt ind til... Altså, vi snakkede med Aaron Greenberg, Nicolaj, vi snakkede med Paris Lilly, vi snakkede med Jess Gordon, vi snakkede med Max Scoville og Jada Griffin fra Arkaden. Alle de her mennesker. Og der spurgte vi lidt omkring, hvad deres holdninger er til det her. Og der var enstemmigt kor om, at det her det er det bedste for industrien, der sker lige nu. Og at PlayStation nok også helt... Hvad?
Jo, det kan godt... Ja, altså, jeg forstod det mere bare som en... Altså, der er en generel konsensus om, at det er den her retning, vi bevæger os i nu, og nu har de ligesom fået fred med det, og det er ikke noget, man har angst omkring længere. Altså, det er bare blevet den nye status quo, det er, at det er den her retning, industrien er på vej ind i. Jeg tror, vi er over den der, umiddelbare sådan modreaktion, man har mod det der. Ja.
Hvad skal vi ellers lave i dag, Nicolaj? Altså, vi har et interview med Blood of Dawnwalker. Jeg har 3 businessmøder, men med Michael, de kommer nok ikke til at blive filmet.
Jeg skal til noget med Limited Run.
Du skal til et hands-on på et hemmeligt Limited Run. Det er rigtigt. Emil Øgaard, ved du, hvad det hemmelige spil er?
Nej.
Der er ingen, der ved det. Det er jo tit, når man står og siger Secret Unannounced Game, så er det noget, man skriver, fordi, hey, altså, så kan det være, at der er nogen, der er dumme nok til at tage det i håb, at de får et eller andet
scoop. Det er noget godt, ja. Og det er det der med Limited Run, det er, at de laver jo lige min type spil, kan man sige.
Hvad er det for nogle spil, de laver?
Det er godt, at vi har sendt... jamen, det ved jeg ikke. You tell me. Altså, det er jo sådan nogle... det er jo gamle retrospil, typisk, ikke også? Altså, det er jo... Så det er jo derfor, man sender spilarkivaren, som mig. Ja. Altså, som jo bare har så meget bredde i min spilkendskab og smag.
Jeg synes, sidste år, der havde vi en virkelig god oplevelse med netop det her, fordi at...
der havde vi et interview med dem jo.
Vi skabte et interview med dem, fordi at vi var inde og se det her spil, som viser at være det nye Heroes Might and Magic-spil, og det var jeg helt oppe at køre over.
Det var til Ubisoft?
Ja, men det var nemlig også sådan et secret unannounced game.
Nå,
så det
på
er
den
ikke,
måde.
Fordi,
okay.
Vi skal ikke
regne med... Jeg tror,
med...
du mener Limited Run.
Nej.
Det var også et rigtig godt interview, jo.
Det var sindssygt
en fed oplevelse. Ja. Men ja, det er rigtigt.
Så altså, jeg tror, at der er mulighed for, at det er en perle. Nu må se, hvad det bliver til.
Jeg tror, at der er 95% chance for, at jeg ikke ved noget om spillet. Altså,
ej, jeg tror godt, du skal ikke skamme dig over dig selv. Det var 98% chance.
Okay, nå.
Hvad hedder det? Daniel Mølhøj, hvad glæder du dig mest til at lave i dag?
Jamen, jeg har været så det var ikke nogen så stor succes med Blizzard i går. Jeg kom ind til et virkelig, virkelig fantastisk interview med 2 udviklere, som sidder på World of Warcraft og det her player housing system, som kommer i Midnight Expansion. Og det var et pissegodt interview.
Har lytterne hørt det interview?
Nej, men de har læst det på hjemmesiden.
Hvad? Hvorfor har du ikke optaget det? What?
Det blev ikke clearet i tide.
Nå.
Fordi min dag blev rykket rundt.
Du skal altså spørge om, tilgivelse og ikke lov.
Det er sådan, det Morten er. Fordi jeg er ikke helt klar. Ja, det er også rigtigt. Men ved du hvad? Lad mig sige det på den her måde her. I dag, der får jeg lov til at optage rigtig meget. Fordi jeg skal nemlig streame i World of Warcrafts egen båd.
Ja. Og
jeg skal spille player housing, og der kommer til at være masser af video på vores stream med det her nye system her, og jeg glæder mig sindssygt meget til det, fordi det er virkelig, virkelig, virkelig fedt.
Det er fedt.
Så det ser jeg virkelig, virkelig meget frem til. Men jeg er virkelig opsat på det her Limited Run, fordi at Limited Run er jo en fantastisk fed organisme i vores meget, meget rigide system, føler jeg. Men de annoncerede jo det her He-Man-spil til Opening Night Live, som jo formentligvis, det ved jeg ikke, altså det her Masters of the Universe-spil. Jeg ved ikke, om det måske er det, du skal ind og spille.
Det kunne være sejt.
Nicolaj. Er du He-Man-fan?
Niks, det er han ikke.
Nej,
det er slet ikke.
Masters of the Universe!
I have the power!
Det lyder... Vi har set en trailer på det, har vi ikke det? For nylig?
Det var blev annonceret til Opening Night Live.
Okay.
Ja.
Det lyder dejligt. Det lyder fedt. He-Man.
Ja. Nej, men ja, altså også selvfølgelig Lego Batman. Altså jeg tror vi talte om det i går om at det her spil.
Altså der siger jeg bare, hvis der ikke er et interview, Daniel, så skal du også lige sørge for at det kommer. Altså,
okay. Ja, ved du hvad? Lad mig sige det på den her måde her.
Du skal bare være charmerende.
Jamen kan du ikke? Det kan jeg ikke, Morten. Det ved jeg godt. Jeg er lige så charmerende som et stykke brunt kul. Men prøv her. Jeg vil gøre mit allerbedste, og der bliver lavet masser af videoindhold dernede allerede. Vi har allerede optaget en enkelt voxpop dernede, og der kommer til at være... De spicy voxpops, de bliver lavet i dag. Lad mig bare sige det. Så dem kan jeg glæde jer til. Rigtig meget.
Jamen, jeg ved, Nicolaj, at vi skal have et interview med udvikleren bag The Rogue Prince of Persia, som er blevet shadow-dropped til konsol også. Er det rigtigt, Miljø i går?
Det ved jeg ikke.
Nej, det er der ingen, der ved det.
PlayStation en trailer i går.
PlayStation, jamen, så er jeg ret sikker på det. Altså, det glæder mig ret meget til. Jeg så også, jeg smugkiggede inde på vores, hjemmeside, der har Christian Kongsøre, han har anmeldt det her spil og givet det 5 ud af 6. Og jeg havde jo også jeg havde lov til at spille sådan et preview til det sidste år. Og jeg var ret meget på køre over det. Personligt, og igen, det er super subjektivt, jeg kunne bedre lide den Hades.
Hold op.
Ja. Jeg er heller ikke verdens største Hades-fan. Altså, jeg er ikke... Det er ikke den nye Messias i min optik. Jeg synes, det er rigtig fint og alle mulige ting. Men der er bare et eller andet med den her 2D-platformer-tilgang, som The Rogue Prince of Persia har, som bare tiltaler sådan en fyr som mig.
Fedt.
Ja, så dem skal vi interviewe. Ja. Vi havde også nogle andre større nogen. Har du vores program?
Altså, nu sidder jeg lige med GPS'en åben.
Den kigger du alligevel ikke på. Kan du så kigge på
jeg kigger alligevel ikke på den, nej. Så giv mig lige et øjeblik.
Okay, hvad hedder det? Ja. Det er Indiana Jones. Vi har Axel Savenius for helvede. Vi skal snakke med ham. Lad være med at finde det frem. Det er skide godt. Så bliver det også en overraskelse. Men ja, Axel Savenius, The Outer Worlds, lige om lidt, når vi er tilbage efter det her, så er det simpelthen med instruktøren på The Outer Worlds 2. Nej, det er det ikke. Det er ikke The Outer Worlds 2. Det er også i dag. Vi har også et interview med The Outer Worlds 2 i dag.
Det er Blood of Dawnwalker.
Ja, det er rigtigt. Ja. Pølsemandens Witcher, som du kalder det. Ja. Jeg synes, de har lidt mere at byde på.
Ninja Gaiden 4.
Ja. Jeg tror, jeg har til... Ninja Gaiden 4.
Reanimal.
Reanimal.
Okay.
Det er okay. Reanimal, det var jo et spil, som jeg blev introduceret for i går. Og Michael Engelbrecht, han var rimelig meget på køre over det. Hvorfor du synes, det her spil ser fedt ud, Michael?
Det er for udviklerne bag Little Nightmares. Og det kan du se i æstetikken.
Jeg har aldrig spillet det.
Det er horror-elementer pakket ind i sådan lidt et børneunivers nærmest.
Det lignede lidt Inside.
Det snakker vi nemlig om. Det lignede lidt Inside, så super fed stil på det. Ja.
Det glæder jeg mig rigtig meget til. Prøv at høre her, mine damer og herrer, lad os komme i gang, har jeg nærmest lyst til at sige. Nu begynder vi at nærme os Køln og Gamescom, og vi har snart vores første interview. Ej, jeg håber, at alting går glat i dag. Det er virkelig kæft, der er mange spændende ting.
Det gør det aldrig.
Det gør det ikke. Den første hurdle er, at vi skal nå vores møde her.
Ja, og vi kommer ikke helt ud af døren så tidligt, som vi gerne ville, så det er jo... Men må det ikke det går? Og ellers, hey,
det går.
Så kan du alligevel ikke lide spillet, jo.
Jeg har ikke glemt at tage min allergimedicin.
Det er fedt. Mine damer og herrer, vi er tilbage lige efter det her, og så har vi et interview med udvikleren, instruktøren bag Blood of Dawnwalker. Han er jo lidt interessant, Nicolaj, fordi det er jo ham, der har lavet The Witcher 3. Og du kan godt lide The Witcher 3.
Det interessante stopper også der.
Ej, det er jeg simpelthen bare ikke enig med dig, Nicolaj. Det er
slap af.
Jeg synes, der er så meget snak med
jeg elsker vampyr, det er så fedt.
Gør du det?
Er der nogen, der har et lommetørklæde?
Vi er tilbage lige efter det her. Everyone, and welcome back. We're very lucky. We're sitting here with one of the founders, co-founders of Rebel Wolves, the studio behind the much anticipated The Blood of Dawnwalker. The Blood of Dawnwalker. Can you introduce yourself?
That is correct.
Can you introduce yourself to the audience?
So my name is Mateusz Tomaszkiewicz, and I'm a creative director at Rebel Wolves, and like you mentioned, one of the co-owners, co-founders.
Yeah, and so you look very young.
Yes, thank you.
But I'll
take that.
You have a long history in video games.
Yeah, that's true.
You have been part of the entire Witcher franchise.
Yeah.
And Cyberpunk before you broke off from CD Projekt Red and started and founded Rebel Wolves.
That is correct. Well, so basically I started at CDPR when they already kind of released Witcher 1. It was like they were working on patches. I started as a QA. I, raced through the ranks basically up to being a lead quest designer on The Witcher 3, quest director on Cyberpunk. And yes, I left after we released Cyberpunk sometime, like 8 months after the release.
Yeah.
At first, I actually moved on to Riot Games for a bit. And when my brother and our friends started Rebel Wolves, I moved over.
Yeah.
Now I'm here.
Why did you leave CD Projekt Red at the time to join Riot?
Why did I leave?
Mm-hmm.
So the reason was
because the studio was burning, Nicolaj.
No. No, I mean, honestly, I spent so much time in that company, because it was over 12 years. And I kind of was thinking of trying something else for a bit. And, after we released the game, I felt like, the team has it. Like we knew we had a plan how to fix the game and so on. I knew we had capable people on board, and I felt, this is a good time before we start the next big thing, and before I get too deep into the development of this next big thing. It's just very difficult for me personally to switch jobs when you're in the middle of a big project like that.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of responsibility to stay till the end and so on, right? So after the project seemed like a reasonable moment, even though, of course, yes, there were a lot of things going on at the time.
But what are the vision for Rebel Wolves? So starting a new studio, and of course your brother, you have a lot of DNA. You've been a big part of creating the Witcher franchise. And when we see the Blood of Dawnwalker, there obviously are some references, similarities, but also a lot of new things. And I'm going to ask you a little about Zelda Majora's Mask later.
Sure.
But can you tell a little bit about what is the vision for Rebel Wolves? What do you want to accomplish?
So there were multiple different elements of it. Like, first of all, we wanted to have a company that will have this nice, good work environment for everyone, right? We wanted to basically build a company where people feel comfortable speaking out, where everyone can pitch in with their ideas. We wanted to have a limited size of the company. We didn't want it to grow too much. Like, this is something we
How many are you now?
Currently, we are 150 people.
Wow!
Including the back office, publishing, and so on.
Yeah.
And it is already a little bit like, we're asking ourselves, are we too big already? I think for a game that we're building, this is the right team. We don't want to grow much over that, honestly, because at this point you can still, everyone by name, like you know who to reach out to at any point. Like the command structure is basically short, so you can talk to everyone.
There's also, this year especially, we see a lot of smaller studios, much smaller than you, creating big IPs like Clair Obscur, Expedition 33, small team with big ambitions. So I think you're set, but it has really taken off for Rebel Wolf, right? So not only do you have a very talented team, but you also very quickly got a big publisher with Bandai Namco. Can you talk a little about the process, because it has gone very quickly?
It's true, and I must give credit to the dev team and the publishing team that we have. Basically, well, first of all, of course, it started with like a good idea and a strong core team, right? So I think this went a long way, that we could show like, look, this is a team of people that worked together before, they know how to do things, they have the expertise, right? And we have a very specific idea for this game. Like, I was saying it in some other interview, that basically what we are trying to achieve with the Blood of Dawnwalker, we try to apply the expertise we already had for the things that we believe can stay at the core of our game, but then we also want to introduce these fresh ideas and experiment. And so we are excited by it, and people get excited by it.
What I really like about the Blood of Dawnwalker, beside this Zelda Majora's Mask aspect? I really like that you are not hiding your roots, where you come from. You don't hide that you have been a big part of creating The Witcher. There are, of course, similarities, but there are also a lot of new ideas in this game. Can you talk a little about how the DNA from what you have done and created through The Witcher,
of course,
are represented in this game, and what you have done differently?
Yeah, of course. I mean, we know that a lot of people loved the games we worked on before, and we wanted to invoke some of the similar feelings when it comes to the core gameplay loop. How do we structure our story? Like, how do we build our quests? How it's like all custom-made content and so on. And I believe it really comes through when you play through. We have some similarities in terms of mood, because again, we do like a kind of course, Baal Sangora is a fictional place, but we try to make it believable. We try to make the designs like basically fitting the 14th century Europe. So the architecture, the clothing, and so on. The concept art, of course, it taps into these references. And when we worked on The Witcher, for example, he kind of had a similar idea. Whereas, of course, it was a fictional world, and but it had a lot of it was grounded in real life architectural styles and clothing types and so on. We really tapped into actual clothing from different eras that could work, in these places. So I guess this is where the similarities come. When I watched the reactions to our CGI trailer, one of the first ones I saw was someone writing, I think on Twitch, oh my god, these are the Witcher soldiers. And I'm like, no, this is how medieval soldiers would dress, actually, It's not the Witcher soldiers, per se, right? So I guess a lot of that fits into this. Also, there are, we use folk music in our game, because it fits, again, the setting, right? We try to use the instruments that were used in that time period, so it feels authentic, right? But at the same time, for some more fantastical, magical moments, we do have other instruments as well. But I guess, again, someone could draw similarities from that vibe.
Also, some of the vocals. I mean, I really love the music of The Witcher 3, and it really did invoke some of also the instruments, but also the vocals, right? I'm not sure if you're working with the similar. Is the Polish band that?
No,
singers?
No. We have our own. We have a different band that we're working with. We have in-house musician and different composers that work with us. We have some composers that did some work on our previous games, Piotr Musiał and Mikołaj Stroiński, who are very talented as well. So, there might be that, but...
I also noticed that I really love this part where you have, when you're investigating a scene, similar to Witcher as well. I mean, you hear the internal monologue of the character.
Yeah.
When you interact with different, I always love that aspect. So I was glad that you used that inspiration.
Yeah, I mean, we believe it's a good mechanic to. We believe it's a good mechanic to kind of convey more storytelling around these places which you investigate, and like to tell you bit more of the story another way than like dialogue with other NPCs, right? Like investigation in the environment.
For sure. I also want to talk about vampires, because I think vampires are super cool.
Yeah.
I especially love the way they are handled in Blood and Wine DLC. I'm not sure if you were working on that at the
Blood
time.
and Wine?
Yeah.
For a little bit, yeah.
Yeah, because the way you just feel awe in their presence, like they're really... Like you're at their mercy. They can overpower you at any moment. Like, and you wouldn't be able to do anything about it. I think it's so. I mean, it almost sends chills down my spine. What's your inspiration for how do you treat vampires here in Dawnwalker? Because I see some similarities there at least. Yeah.
I mean, so it's funny story, because Blood and Wine. I was working on it for a bit, then I moved on to Gwent, so this was like one of the first bits of The Witcher that I was able to experience as a player. I knew a lot of the content, but not all of it, right? So the main story was, for example, twisted in ways that I didn't know, and I was like, oh, okay, this is cool, you know, I can actually play it. Regarding the vampires themselves, the vampires of The Witcher, of course, are a bit different than the usual folklore, because they are like... they are not like susceptible to the sun, I think.
That's true. Yeah.
They are kind of like alien species from another dimension, because you have the conjunction of spheres and everything. Our vampires are more tapping into like classic vampire mythos, but we are twisting it, of course.
We had the pleasure of talking to one of the cosplayers at your booth.
Yeah.
And she was this female vampire character that's also in the trailer.
Amazing cosplay.
And the cosplayer, she knew a lot about the lore about, and she told us about how her teeth were growing out of her skull.
Yes.
It's so cool. It's so cool.
So this is one of the ways we twist them. So like in our IP, the vampires, their teeth grow all the time as they grow older, right? And most of them in their mouths, but they can grow in other places in their bodies as well. So this is one of the ways we do it, but of course, like more like visual.
Yeah.
Another like myth that we twisted a little bit is how you turn someone into a vampire. So this is another big difference with the other mythos, where you don't just feed people blood like you do in some other IPs. In our IP, you have to take out one of your teeth, because the teeth are so central to the vampires in our world, and you have to like inject it into the victim's heart. And this is how you might turn them into a vampire.
Oh, shit.
Okay. But at the same time, the blood does have like special properties. Like,
we see.
Yeah,
we see that in the cinematic that you produce, right? That
exactly.
It has healing powers.
Exactly.
And maybe it comes at a cost.
It does. Like people can get addicted to it if they have too much of it.
But also that these vampires are in some way saviors, or can save people, see themselves as saviors. That's a very interesting
one of the big
aspects.
Plot lines we have is like how they took over this valley, of course, and this is exactly one of the mechanisms they use to kind of control the population. Like they frame themselves as saviors, these messianic figures. They kind of twist Christian imagery to basically turn themselves into these saints that heal people and. This is kind of one of the ways they manipulate people in the valley, right?
I really gotta ask you about. So what I really like, because I like that it feels somewhat familiar when you just jump into it. When you see, this feels like The Witcher in some aspects. But what I really love is the sandbox aspect of this game, right?
Absolutely.
So I was of course, you also showed this to us in the presentation, but I really love that there are so many ways that you can complete a mission, that you play with the day and night cycle also. That is extremely interesting. Why? What are your thoughts about that process, and why did you choose this?
Of course, I mean, it's something we call the narrative sandbox. So we always have these ideas of mixing different elements and making, like rearranging them in fun ways. So one thing we really enjoyed in the games from the past were Fallout 1, Fallout 2, where they had this game structure where if you knew where to go, you could finish this game really quick. You could go to the end. If you knew where the master is, you could just go there directly, right? Or the Enclave base in the Fallout 2. But then you have all these plot lines that feed into it, that can guide you to it, of course, and in some cases impact the main story as well. But they are optional. You can do them, but you don't have to. And it gives the developers a lot of freedom in what different outcomes you can have from these plot lines. You can cut them off. If the player decides to kill off some of the important NPCs, it's fine. The game still works, right? Yeah. So this is something that I really enjoy. This is something very different about this game.
Yeah.
How we structure the narrative in a way that we can allow you as a player.
I love it.
To do crazy stuff.
I love it. And what I also love is that you have this ticking clock that you are always aware of. So in this game, you play with time, and time is in some ways your enemy. And you have to be very aware of your choices in the game. So you have this ticking time bomb where you say you have this many days to save your family, right?
Yeah.
Crazy good idea. But it also reminds me a lot about Zelda Majora's Mask, where you also have these... this this day cycle, right? Can you tell? Of course, you have to be inspired by Zelda.
It's one of the inspirations, but there are many different ones you can look up to. Yeah. Of course, this is very experimental what we're doing because actually the way we think about it is time as a resource. It's not per se like a clock that is ticking because when you stand still, nothing really progresses. You actually have to do activities in order to push it, right? So this way, you kind of have to think about consciously where do you want to spend it. The game telegraphs, of course, which actions will push it forward. And
there's
at the same time,
risk-reward thing about it, right? When you choose to do something narratively, it costs you something.
Yes.
And that is awesome.
Exactly, because now it's this additional layer of the cost of your choices, right? It's not just the narrative choices, it's also how much time do I spend there? Do I want to actually invest my time there? At the same time, it ties really nicely with the idea of our protagonist having this dual gameplay loop. So different loop for the nighttime, different loop for the daytime. Because now there is also this element, okay, if I do this quest, it will change to nighttime, and then I might not be able to talk to someone because they are asleep or something, right? And do I want to do this now or do I want to do that first? For example, you can skip time, of course, but it is, again, you are spending time to skip time. So, unexpected things might happen. At the same time, for the people who are worried about this, because I know that some people stress out about the time limit, the way we treat this, you're not going to get the game over screen when the time runs out. We think about it as choice and consequence. So, do it at your own peril. If you want to skip time a lot, you can. And this is a totally viable way to play the game and to finish the game. It's fine. But also what is important to highlight, because it's an open world, we wanted to make sure that you don't feel this pressure all the time when exploring, because sometimes you want to take in the world, the views, and again, time as a resource is giving us that, because you can explore fully, you can loot stuff, you can, craft and so on.
Yeah, and that didn't cost you time, right?
No.
You are you're very honest when you do this, it will cost you this much time.
Yes, exactly. You know exactly how much time segments you will spend. If you look at the gameplay footage, you can see this clock, which is divided into segments. You know exactly how much you will spend, where will it push you. We put a lot of effort into making it very transparent to the players. So it's not something that randomly punishes you. It's something that is your conscious choice.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that, how you mitigated some of that anxiety, because I can imagine, I felt it when I saw this for the first time. I was like, okay, this is a very cool concept, but it could potentially backfire in a way, right? Like you say, I understand that some people might be turned off from this, but it's interesting the way that you're approaching it. I forgot what I was going to ask about. So
then I have a question. Okay, so how far are you in development of this game? So it's releasing next year, at least for now, right? They can always push it. Yeah, that's the plan. That's the plan. But how far are you in developing things, and how much feedback do you get throughout this process?
So currently it's in a pre-beta stage, which means we are working towards achieving beta. As you can see, we are still working on things like the graphics, certain mechanics, and so on. And we are iterating a ton. If you watched our previous footage that we posted online, for example, we got a lot of feedback from the community about the camera.
They actually told us this in the presentation, that they have taken feedback. That's also why I'm asking.
It was very good feedback. So we decided to introduce different modes of camera, like further away, like closer to Cohen, and so on. We are still working on these things. And graphic fidelity, for example, is something that we are still... You might see in this build, we already progressed a lot on on different fronts with the graphics. Another thing that is, of course, super important is to have parity on different platforms that we want to release in, right? So we have a stable, good frame rate, and a good graphic fidelity on these platforms. It's very important to us, so we put a lot of effort into this. Of course, I would say in terms of the story and the dialogue, we are mostly locked in. We still do some little tweaking. We still have some voiceover recordings and so on going on. But generally speaking, the content, the narrative content is done in terms of being in. And now we have a lot of course, work with polishing it, making it ready for the release. There is a lot of work ahead of us still.
You can do a lot in a year.
Yeah, absolutely.
I am honestly very excited about this. I think there's so many cool aspects of this game, and I can't wait to play. Do you have any more questions, Nicolaj?
No, I don't. Not really. I don't think so.
Okay, so can you please sum up why people also like me should be hyped for this game?
Oh, okay.
I'm putting you on the spot now.
Yeah. Well, okay, so if you enjoy open world games that have solid narratives, and if you enjoy the themes of hidden worlds, so vampires, occult magic, different creatures that hide in the dark, I believe this is exactly a game for you. I would say don't be too worried about the time passage. In the game, we are making sure that it's accessible for everyone and that you'll enjoy it. I think it has a lot of things. If you played our previous games, I think you'll feel right at home when playing this. But also, there's a lot of new stuff to look forward to. It's we have a lot of these innovative systems we are putting in there. And I would say again, if you like games with more open narrative structure, where you can do things out of order, go crazy in how you complete the quests. Again, this is something we put a lot of effort in, and if you enjoy this is a game for you.
And one last question, because now I have to ask, how many endings do you have for this game?
Oh, I can't tell you yet. But there are more than one, I can tell you that.
Because you can see that just by watching the side quest and the main story, how many ways you can achieve the end goal, and that the end goal, the story changes. Based on your choices.
It's too early to reveal that. But I can tell you.
But if you would, it could be here.
Maybe next time.
Okay. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
I'm really looking forward to this game, and congratulations with the quick turnaround, the quick way to build this studio and getting Bandai Namco on board.
Thank you so much.
It's awesome.
We are very humbled by the whole process and how it went as well.
Thank you. We are back right after this. Ja, mine damer og herrer, så er vi tilbage igen, og prøv at, vi har haft en sindssygt travl dag. Så vi optager en lille smule ud af den rigtige rækkefølge. Men jeg tænker, at vi bare gerne lige vil snakke lidt omkring Blood of Dawnwalker. Blood of Dawnwalker. Blood of the Dawnwalker. Nicolaj, vi havde et interview med en af grundlæggerne af Rebel Wolves.
Ja.
Du har jo været en lille bitte smule skeptisk omkring det her spil. Er der noget af den her skepsis, som forsvandt? Fordi jeg synes jo, han faktisk svarede direkte på noget af den kritik, du egentlig havde kommet lidt med til spillet.
Ja, jeg synes ikke rigtig, at jeg rejste noget kritik. Altså,
men det går han selv.
Bare sammenligninger.
Ja. Men det kom han selv med jo.
Ja.
Han sagde for eksempel det her
Okay, det jeg fik ud af det, Morten, det var, at han helt sikkert var bevidst om, at der var mange ligheder mellem det. Og det, altså, jeg er ikke helt sikker på, at det nødvendigvis er en kritik. Jeg tror bare ikke, jeg har set ret meget, som jeg synes sådan, er super, super interessant. Altså, jeg synes bare, det ser okay ud.
Jeg tror
bare, jeg havde lidt højere forventninger. Jeg tror i virkeligheden, det måske handler lidt om, at jeg tænkte, at det her det skulle være en potentiel sådan 5 ud af 6'er. Hvor jeg tror mere som dig, at det bliver en 4 ud af 6'er. Jeg tror bare, at det er en skuffelse, jeg måske bearbejder.
Jeg har lavet en 180'er. Jeg tror ikke længere, det her der...
Det tror du ikke?
Jeg tror, det her bliver en 5 ud af 6.
Baseret på hvad?
Baseret på de ting, han sagde.
Okay.
Hvad hedder det? Nogle af de ting, som ligesom har trukket det en lille smule ned, det har for os, det har været en ting af den grafiske del, hvor det er, at den ikke er helt up to date.
Det var han også klar over.
Det var nemlig... Jeg fortsætter lige her. Ja. Hvad hedder det? Så en ting, det var, den grafiske del, som vi har kritiseret en lille smule. Og den anden del, det var det her med at finjustere og optimere gameplay. Ja. Og det her det er et spil, som først kommer om et år. Og det virker til, at det er de rigtig, rigtig meget bevidste om. For han snakkede selv, uden vi spurgte omkring det her. Han sagde det her med, jamen hey, det her det er et spil, hvor vi kommer til at opdatere grafikken. Vi kommer til at gå ind og opdatere gameplayen. Det her det er en beta på mange måder, eller hvad man skal kalde det.
Sagde han ikke også placeholder voice lines?
Det gjorde han også.
Gjorde han ikke det?
Jo,
jeg tror, han sagde, der var noget midlertidige voice lines og sådan noget. Jeg ved ikke, om det lige præcis var i den demo, vi spillede.
Jeg står ikke og siger det her, at alt det kan løses, men hvis det kan det, det kan løses, hvis det kan blive smuttet lidt mere ud. Ja. Og det kommer først om et år, Nicolaj. Det er fandme lang tid, når man har hele spillet spilbart og kan sidde og finpuste det.
Ja. Altså, vi ved ikke, hvornår det udkommer i år, eller næste år, men det kunne jo være et halvt år, jo, måske. I don't know.
Og så også det her med, at de... Hvad skal man kalde det? Altså... Det her med, at det her team, de her brødre, har været så stor en del af alle Witcher-spillene. Det gør også lidt, at de er lidt mere fortjent til at stjæle i godsøjne.
Den her mand, han var jo også, lead quest designer på Witcher 3. Og man kan sige, Witcher 3's quest var måske en af de ting, der gjorde, at det blev en af de bedste RPG'er, der nogensinde er lavet, og den ligesom løftede barn for RPG-spil generelt. Det gjorde den jo, fordi at den havde de her fantastiske sidequests.
Præcis.
Så jeg tænker stadig, det har stort potentiale.
Enig.
Jeg tror bare, at den demo, vi så, den har ikke forøget den har måske temperet mine forventninger en lille smule.
Okay. Ja. Jeg er forholdsvis spændt på det. Lad os kaste bolden videre til det næste, som vi skal opleve. Ja. Og prøv at høre her. Det er Axel Sevenius.
Ja.
Det er instruktøren på Indiana Jones and the Great Circle, og også DLC'en her, som vi har fornøjelsen af at snakke med. Og Nicolaj, det var rigtig fedt, fordi sådan har vi faktisk haft det med vi har haft mange oplevelser. Folk kan huske os.
Det kan det, ja.
Det er ret fedt. Ja. Vi har haft, sådan, du ved, vi kommer ind, og så sådan, I remember you guys. Og det var fedt, og det var præcis det samme med, med Axel Sevenius, og jeg sagde sådan, ja, men han nævnte specifikt, nej, i London, og alle mulige ting, jeg husker, fordi det var pisse sjovt og sådan nogle ting. Det var nice, og det var også en rigtig hyggelig samtale, som vi skal høre nu.
Jeg synes også, det var fedt, at man ligesom kunne, at man kan fortsætte samtalen fra, altså den samtale, vi havde med ham i London, inden udgivelsen af Indiana Jones. Ja. Det synes jeg er rigtig fedt.
Så nu skal I høre Axel Sevenius og os snakke om Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. Og efter det, så skal I høre os snakke med Ninja Gaiden 4 udviklerne.
Ja.
Så det er spændende. Og så, når vi har gjort det, så er vi tilbage med noget andet.
Ja, så sker der noget mere.
Så sker noget mere. Der sker mange ting. Men der var vi er tilbage lige efter det her. Hello everyone and welcome back. We have the extreme honor. I'm really stoked actually because I'm sitting here with a superstar. None other than Axel Sevenius from Machine Games and his colleague. What's your name? You have to get the mic.
I'm Zeke Ferrant. I'm the lead game designer at Machine Games.
Lead game designer. 2 superstars. Yeah, great. So Axel, I had the pleasure of speaking with you at a preview event in London with Nicolaj. I remember telling you, I had played like 2 hours or something. I liked the game. And I said, Axel, you son of a bitch, you got something here. This got Game of the Year potential. And it was Indiana Jones and the Great Circle was Arkadens Game of the Year.
Yeah.
how is it now? Are you sleeping well? How have the reception been for you?
No, it's been an amazing journey, that's for sure. And I also just need to call out, happy that you think I'm a superstar, but
I know it's a team effort.
Yeah, for me, it's like I'm working with a team of superstars. We have a super team back home at Machine Games, and without them, this wouldn't have been possible. But it's just, it's an honor to be able to represent the team and being able to be here together with Zeke and talking about the DLC. But yeah, we are very, very happy and very, very thrilled and excited over the response and reception that we got from Indiana Jones and the Great Circle, and now we are extremely excited.
Even Harrison Ford himself called out the performance of Troy Baker and said, "This is acting, right?"
Yeah.
And I had the same feeling playing Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. He doesn't do an impression of Harrison Ford. He tries to be Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
And that really is the difference, right?
Yeah, it is.
You guys just nailed the goddamn tone.
And without the passion and the energy from Troy Baker, this wouldn't have been possible either. So, and that passion and his hard work, that has carried through the entirety of the Great Circle game, but also into the DLC, the Order of Giants.
What has been the most surprising response afterwards for Indiana Jones and the Great Circle?
I think the thing for me is I know that people love this character so much. I love this character. It's been so much fun to work with Indiana Jones because it really streamlines the design process. It's like, does this punch land right? No, because he doesn't fly backwards and over or something. He doesn't make a funny face. Oh, it's like that frying pan. Is that a good prop? Well, if I can pick it up, yes, then it's a good prop. We know what to do. It needs to have this kind of handle so I can pick it up. Yeah. So it's been super fun to have that internally. But I think the thing that really just shocked me is how many people have come up to me and say, this is a game that, I never played games before, but this is a game that brought me to it. Or my dad wanted to play this game with me, or my kids love this game. And it's not just people sitting by themselves, it's a lot of people sitting on the couch together and really wanting to go through everything.
My wife and I, we played it together like that. I held the control and we experienced it. And Indiana Jones and the Great Circle, it is the best story since The Last Crusade, right? Mm-hmm. You nailed the ending. How many games does that nowadays? Yeah, that was really crazy. So, what about you? What has been the most surprising experience after the game released?
I think one of the most surprising, but also to some extent maybe not anticipated, but what we were hoping for was that fans and gamers, they got it. They understood what we were trying to do. We had a lot of internal discussions and a lot of, balancing back and forth. Will this game function from an overarching pacing point of view? Is it okay to allow the game to slow down in pace? Somewhere there will be walking sections, and as you saw now when we were doing the demo of the DLC, there will be longer in the DLC platforming sections or lengthy puzzles, and that's okay, because it turns out we love it, but more importantly, gamers and fans love it. They absolutely got what we were trying to do, and that's for me, and I think for the majority of the team, that was the most rewarding.
I think the craziest thing is you have been able to. So the Great Circle, my game of the year last year, as I said before, you have created this extremely fantastic foundation that you're totally building off on with Order of Giants, right?
Yeah.
But it's always hard to create the first game of a genre. The fact that you have come this far with the first interpretation of Indiana Jones, that's crazy. What have you learned from the initial release, and what are you putting into this DLC?
A lot of new things. Basically everything within the DLC is new and fresh. We have new enemies, we have a boss fight, we have great set pieces, brand new cinematics.
And it's long.
It's long.
I heard you said 5 to 6 hours.
Yeah, and that's if you are not finding everything, I would say. If you're a 100% completionist, that's we have found out a lot of fans.
I tried. I gave up, man.
Do you have data? Do you have data showing that there's a large percent of players who actually collect a lot of collectibles and find all the secrets?
We do have data when it comes to seeing the amount of people doing what, but I don't have that data with me or in my head, but what we've seen and what we constantly hear is that people get so excited to explore the world of Indiana Jones.
It's fun to be a treasure hunter.
Yeah, it is. So people tend to try to find everything, and that's a legacy, and that's like a theme of exploration that we have just tried to convey and keep honoring in the DLC as well.
Also, just traversing in the game itself, the level design is. That's you. That's really, really well done, right? It's so fun being Indiana Jones and exploring, going through the levels, finding all the secrets. Yeah, there are so many puzzles, and that's you nailed the combat, you nailed the humor, but the puzzle element, which is also such a big part of the films, man. You guys.
The puzzles and the traversals are something, from the earliest implementation of the game. I mean, I really, really wanted to work on Indiana Jones because it's in first person. And having that perspective and having this system where you're reaching out and grabbing things and able to rotate it in place, all these cool pickups that you can look at, it was a really wonderful, interesting space to design from. Yeah. And, it's in many ways you're a bit slower because you're not a superhero. You're Indiana Jones. You're a middle-aged archaeologist who's jumping around. And but you also have a whip. And so this is a very different action-adventure kind of traversal space that we have to work with. And, I would say from the start, putting all these brand new mechanics into the game, it was something that took us a little while to get into, but I think it's full-blown in the DLC. I think we've kind of mastered that now.
It's so funny that when the game was announced first, people were so skeptical of it being first person, right? And then when you play the game, you get it.
I was a skeptic.
You were a super skeptic.
Yeah, I was a skeptic at first, but it clicked for me. I think it clicked for me right up to the release with some of the gameplay that you showed, because it's all about immersion. It's all about having the spiders
and the melee combat
and having the spiders crawling next to your face, and it's much more intimate and it's much closer to you, and you wouldn't have achieved that with third person, I think.
And obviously, we also love the appearance of, Indiana Jones. We also want to see him, right? Yeah. We want to get the full experience. So that's why we have this balance between the first-person immersive action, but at the same time, you constantly go out to third-person in all the traversals and the platforming, and then all the cutscenes. So there's almost in main game, I think it's close to 4 hours of cutscenes. There's plenty of screen time of, this beautiful face of his. And constantly throughout the game as well, we see his iconic silhouette with a hat and jacket and everything. So, and that's something that we kept pushing on for the DLC as well, that we have that balance. There's a lot of platforming, we see him in 3P, there's a lot of cutscenes, we see him full-blown cinematics, and then the first person immersive.
There's also so many nods to the films, there's this great side quest with this German woman, which obviously there's some nods to The Last Crusade, right? I gotta ask, because you're from Sweden, we're from Denmark, we're both from Scandinavia, and in Denmark, at least, we talk right now a lot about cultural exports. Remedy, of course, is great. They've done they've really done great work with Alan Wake 2. We talked to 007 First Light guys yesterday, and talked about how is the Danish humor, is that in 007, and it's so hard because it's an established IP, and Indiana Jones, not Indiana Jones, 007 is extremely British, right? But they had a response to it, where you can see the Danish aspect of it. Can you see the Swedish aspect, the Swedish humor? Where can you see that in Indiana Jones, in your mind?
Ooh, that's a good question. In the main game, we do have, Annika, which we encounter in Sukhothai, and she's a cool character, and there's some, she even swears in Swedish, so that's fun. But I do think that there's this kind of the humor that's always been within the walls of machine games, even in our previous titles like Wolfenstein. We always have this kind of, irony and kind of dark humor vibe, and with all the sarcasm type of humor that's with Indiana Jones as well, that was kind of a perfect fit, and we could just continue to push. So maybe that's a part of it, the Swedish humor aspect, I don't know.
Yeah, as an American living in Sweden, I would just say, having been around Europe, I would say actually the Swedes like understand and probably are maybe better at American sarcasm in a lot of ways. I felt immediately when I moved to Sweden, I was like, oh, like I can say kind of weird sarcastic things and the Swedes pick it up, whereas like maybe not always the easiest.
Is that a Scandinavian thing that we are extremely sarcastic?
Yeah,
I think so.
Okay. So also I gotta ask. So it's funny that today we're we're in Köln, in Cologne.
Yeah.
We're in Germany. Machine Games, they really like to make fun of Germany. They Wolfenstein.
We love Germany. We love Germany.
Yeah. So I know you can't announce anything that maybe there's a sequel or anything. I know that. That's a politician answer right away. But if you were, like you are doing here in the DLC, by the way, it's so funny that Bethesda is like so old school. They still do DLC. They did Shattered Space last year with Starfield, right? And they're doing it now with Indiana Jones.
It's cool to be old school.
It's super cool and super cool. But what would you like to enhance, to explore more, like in this DLC in the future? What have you learned? What's the... If there's something you could improve on with the base game, what should that be?
It's a very tricky question.
Because you don't want to get in trouble.
But I could speak to this for several hours, because there are absolutely things that we learned through just like the process of making maps and art and pipelines, that throughout the main production, there were things potentially further down the line, like, if we would have implemented another type of process for wrapping up these environment kits, or if we did have another flow between level design and environment, whatever it might be, we could have maybe had that thing in, or we would have done this thing in another way. So I think that one of the challenges and the luxury problem that we always have at Machine Games is that we have too many ideas. We have too many things that we try to cramp in. It's just like the studio is like bubbling of ideas and cool things, and then you have to like sort through and what's the best fit, what can we get into like the production schedule in terms of budget and resources and all of that. So I mean, if there were one thing that I was able to change, it was just that it would be more, and potentially in hindsight, if we would have done other choices earlier on, maybe it could have been more. But at the same time, we took on a extremely ambitious project from a Machine Games point of view, and I'm very happy with where we landed, and the same goes for the DLC.
Yeah, I would say like one of the things, if I could change anything in terms of production, it would just be, not having that COVID isolation, having to work remote. It was so great to get back in the office and collaborate in person. Yeah, cancel COVID. That would be my change to this, because it was just so nice. For me, I started during COVID, and so I was 2 years before I ever actually got into the office and was able to like start collaborating face to face. And for me, that really just like it jump started a lot of really, really great ideas all to fruition and to the end. Yeah.
I am extremely... We gotta wrap up. I got the angry eyes from... No, he's not angry. No. But we gotta wrap up. But I want to say that, first of all, I really look forward just to get an excuse to get back into the Indiana Jones games. Really looking forward to that. But I really look forward to seeing what Machine Games does if you ever do a sequel to this. You gotta see what Naughty Dog were able to do with the first Uncharted to Uncharted 2, with Wolfenstein, the first Wolfenstein to Wolfenstein 2. Wow. You are truly superstars. This is my favorite game, and
the entire team, of course.
Yeah.
And thank you for the kind words. And right now, our focus is obviously getting Order of the Giants out. The 4th of September, it's out, and then it will be accessible and playable for everyone that has like premium or premium upgrade or the collector's edition. But you will also be able to purchase the DLC as a standalone, but you still need the base game to be able to enjoy it. And then obviously we announced it was yesterday, right, on Opening Night Live, that 2026 on Switch 2. There will be more stuff to come with the main game and the DLC as well. So right now we're very focused on making sure that 4th September is nice and smooth, and then next year excitement stuff with Switch 2.
So you already said it, but so can you do a short pitch? What can players expect for Order of Giants, and when can we play it?
It will be out on 4th of September. You will be able to experience a very high quality, narrative-driven product that in any way, in all way possible, seamless connects with main games. If you love the main game, this is absolutely for you.
And we just saw some gameplay. It looks very good. Thank you so much for your time, guys. And let me just say, we didn't get a chance to talk about this, but the way you have... We're going to talk about this afterwards ourselves, but the way you have planned this DLC so far in advance, that it fits so well into the narrative, to the place, for the Vatican as a place, very good. Thank you so much for your time, guys. You are masters of the craft. Thank you so much.
Tør du se, hvordan vor tids største gyserfortælling slutter? Det kan du i det sidste kapitel af The Conjuring, de sidste ritualer. Vores alle dæmonjægende far og mor, Ed og Lorraine Warren, jages ud af deres pension, da en af deres første sager hjemsøger på ny. Og som altid i Conjuring-universet er det ikke bare fiktion og spøgelseshistorier. Filmen her bygger på virkelige hændelser, denne gang fra et ægtepar i Pennsylvania, der påstod, at en dæmon besatte deres hjem i årene mellem 1974 til 1989.
I thought that these type things only happen in movies.
Skaberen af den elskede gyser-franchise James Wan er tilbage som kreativ producer, mens instruktøren Michael Chavez lover, at vi får filmseriens hidtil mørkeste og blodigste øjeblikke at se. Så find din gysermakker, hold godt fast i popcornene og gå i biografen den 3. september for at se slutningen. Ikke bare på en saga, men også din nattesøvn.
Something's changed.
Vi har fået vores helt eget quizshow, hvor jeg, Daniel Mølhøj, vil finde ud af, hvem her på Arkaden, der ved mest om gaming.
Så jeg tager kun 3.000 point fra Morten.
Og hvem der kan vinde den ultimative pris, praleretten.
Folk spørger mig, hvordan det føles at tabe, og jeg ved det ikke, fordi jeg har nogensinde tabt.
Kategorierne er innovativ, spørgsmålet er hjernevridende.
Det var dumt.
Jeg kan sgu da ikke huske det.
Og the game knowledge er insane.
I stedet for det hedder ikke Gerudo Valley, det hedder bare Gerudo Desert. Er det ikke bare det?
Den giver jeg dig, Dale. Det er Gerudo Desert. Gæt med, når du ser dine yndlingsnørder miste besindelsen og satse alt de har for at vinde Gamerly.
Kasper, hvor meget har du satset?
Jeg nøjes med 100.
Du spiller sikkert.
Og her er et hurtigt quizspørgsmål. Sandt eller falsk? Gamerly er eksklusivt til dig, der vælger at støtte os på Arkaden Plus, som kan gøres på tier.dk eller MobilePay med 50 kroner om måneden til nummeret 13872.
Det ved jeg godt.
Det er sandt! Ja! Det er fandme rigtigt! Holy mand! Så ram bosseren og lås dit svar, når Gamerly rammer skærmen eksklusivt på Arkaden Plus.
Jeg gik ind til det, og tænkte, Michael fin, og ham vil jeg gerne tabe til min Morten. Det kan jeg ikke leve med.
Ja, mine damer og herrer, så er vi tilbage igen, og prøv at høre her. Lige om lidt, så skal I se et interview med Ninja Gaiden 4-udviklerne. Nicolaj, det er jo et spil, som... Det er jo, altså, jeg har ikke det store forhold til Ninja Gaiden.
Nå, det har du ikke?
Det har jeg ikke. Jeg var jo heller ikke helt så glad for Ninja Gaiden Ragebound, men jeg værdsætter rigtig, rigtig meget, hvad der er ved at ske med den franchise. Den er jo virkelig at få det vildeste comeback, og det er jo Team Ninja, som har lavet spil som Nioh, og Platinum Games, der har lavet spil som Bayonetta, der er gået sammen for at lave Ninja Gaiden 4. Og det er mega spændende. Vi sidder og snakker med 2 udviklere fra de her 2 studier, som blandt andet snakker om det. Det skal I glæde til. Ja. Nicolaj,
det er fucking spændende.
Det er fucking spændende. Daniel Mølhøj, har du lavet noget spændende?
Prøv at høre, jeg har lavet kun spændende ting i dag. Kæmpe andre, altså modsat fuldstændig dagen i går. I dag har det simpelthen været et kæmpe blast for mig. Prøv at høre, jeg har været...
Det lyder virkelig, som om du er sarkastisk.
Nej. Og det er det, jeg har nået sådan et punkt i sådan min talemønster. Jeg kan kun lyde sarkastisk. Men jeg er helt reel, når jeg siger det. Jeg har været inde og prøve World of Warcrafts nye player housing system, og det har simpelthen været...
Som er, altså for alle os, der ikke spiller World of Warcraft, det er Sims.
Det er indretning. Det er indretning i din lille borg, i dit lille hus. Altså, call it what you want. Det er fucking lækkert. Det er en pissegod idé. Den kommer alt for sent.
Ja, jeg tænker, det må have universel appel, det der.
Ja.
Det lyder fedt.
Det har været en planlagt feature siden betaen i 2004.
Ja, altså alle de mennesker, der bor i World of Warcraft, de har jo været hjemløse indtil nu.
De har været hjemløse, nu kommer de endelig hjem. Nej, og jeg har fået lov til at streame det. Hvis man er så med på streamen, så er man mega nice, men... også bare virkelig, virkelig fedt at få lov til at prøve at streame ude i felten og være tæt samarbejde med Blizzard for eksempel, om at få det til at gå op i en større helhed. Og så har jeg jo lavet altså ikke 1, ikke 2, ikke 3, men hele 4-5 videoer i dag. Jeg har optaget 5 videoer, altså voxpop-videoer, og det er simpelthen, det her det er.
Og det voxpop, hvis man sidder derude og tænker, hvad er det? Det er de videoer, som udkommer på vores sociale medier, som TikTok, Instagram, Facebook osv.
Yes. Der hvor jeg snakker med folk sådan, hvad er dit bedste spil? Alt det gas der, ikke? Og jeg har simpelthen, det har været de bedste videoer, I skal virkelig glæde jer til det. Jeg er i cosplay. Altså... brandvarm cosplay, og jeg har spurgt ind til folks fødder og sådan noget der. Det er mega godt. Det er så godt. Det har simpelthen været...
Har du haft gang i din fodquiz?
Det har jeg virkelig. Min fodquiz, den er blevet hævet frem. Jeg har talt med så mange Tarantino-fans i dag, at I fatter det ikke. Det er så fedt. Wow. Det er så godt. Så det har været en virkelig fed dag for mig. Også en masse små ting, men nu ser jeg virkelig meget frem til, at jeg skal hjem og samle hele oplevelsen i mit hoved igen.
Ja, fordi altså, vi filmer en lille smule out of context lige nu, fordi vi er faktisk på vej ud af Gamescom, men altså, det er jo bare sådan, Nicolaj, vi har haft så travlt, vi er bare gået fra interview til interview til interview, så vi har ikke haft tid til ligesom at lave den her optakt.
Vi har i hvert fald ikke haft nok headspace til at... Altså, få den ind. Altså, der har været nogle små pauser, men det der med, det var ret i, det har virkelig været krævende i dag også.
Sindssygt. Ja, altså sådan helt, det kan man ikke mærke, men under de her interviews, vi har haft, både med Axel Sevenius, Ninja Gaiden 4 og så videre, som I kan se nu, jeg har det sygt dårligt. Jeg har jeg har så meget hovedpine, og jeg har, jeg er sulten, fordi jeg har slet ikke spist noget som helst. Så ja, det er crazy. Og nu skal jeg simpelthen ud. Det gør man sådan her, tror jeg. Sådan her, yes sir. Så er jeg ude af Gamescom. Så ja, helt sikkert. Men Ninja Gaiden 4, rigtig fint interview, synes jeg egentlig.
Jeg synes, det var et virkelig godt interview.
Gjorde det? Ja. Det er spændende.
Jeg synes, du klarede det sindssygt godt.
Daniel skal ned og hente en jakke. Jeg tror, det der er med det er, at altså, det er jo bare spændende at snakke om passion og så videre. Ja. Det er det. Prøv at høre. Lad os snakke mere om det. Lad os komme i gang. Her er interviewet med udviklerne på Ninja Gaiden 4, som jo altså består af Team Ninja, Neo-folkene blandt andet, og selvfølgelig Platinum Games. Vi er tilbage lige efter det her.
Since ancient times, the Hayabusa and Raven ninja clans have fought to keep peace.
Stay away from the Dark Dragon Seal.
Even a mortal such as yourself has heard of me, I'm sure.
Please, don't kill him. The whole world's at stake.
Welcome back. I have the great honor of sitting here with two of the developers from the upcoming Ninja Gaiden 4. Thank you so much for doing this interview. Very excited. What a year for Ninja Gaiden, huh? This seems to be the biggest comeback of a franchise we've ever seen. We started the year off with Ninja Gaiden 2 Black, which you guys did, and we just had Ninja Gaiden Ragebound, and now, soon, Ninja Gaiden 4, the much anticipated game. Can you talk a little bit about the partnership between Platinum Games and Team Ninja? How did that happen?
Yeah, so first off, it is the year of the ninja, and we're just grateful for all of our partners that have helped bring all of these amazing titles out this year. And closing out the year with Ninja Gaiden 4, we're also very excited to bring a new mainline entry. In terms of how the collaboration got off the ground, for Team Ninja, it's Ninja Gaiden is just a very important series, and we had wanted to bring a new mainline entry for a long time. And when that opportunity started to present itself, there was a conversation that took place between the president of Koei Tecmo, Koinuma, and the president of Platinum Games, Inaba. And they were talking about, wouldn't it be great if we could, work together and make collaborate on a new game? And that's when the idea of working together on a Ninja Gaiden, a new mainline entry Ninja Gaiden, came up. And Phil Spencer from Xbox, he caught wind of this idea and he threw his backing behind the project, and that's what got it off the ground.
it's so inspiring to see two legendary Japanese developers coming together, bringing a franchise back together. Can you talk a little bit about what it is about the Ninja Gaiden franchise that speaks most to you, and how you can use both of your qualities as a video game developer making this game come to life?
私からですけれども、我々
Yeah, so from the perspective of Team Ninja, being able to collaborate on this title and really bring Platinum Games, approach with their stylish, dynamic action into Ninja Gaiden was, a very exciting opportunity. But not only, having them bring their own sensibilities and their own approach, but incorporating it into that core Ninja Gaiden identity, which is characterized by that high speed back and forth between offense and defense.
そうですね。で、特にアクションの部分に関しては
Yeah, so from the perspective of Platinum Games, they really respect the sense of precision and precise yet intricate yet precise and elegant controls with their games. Whereas, Platinum Games, they're really known for their style and their sense of these kind of expressive types of action. So with Ninja Gaiden 4, we're really able to combine both of our strengths, bringing that new kind of stylish, expressive combat while retaining and, continuing that tradition of Ninja Gaiden, which is that, precision and that sense of extreme playability.
Would you like to do more collaborations in the future?
I mean, making this game together has been such a fulfilling and stimulating experience that if the opportunity presented itself, we would definitely be, interested in that idea.
It has been very interesting as press watching how Xbox has never been able to tap into the Japanese market. But investing in projects like this, that seems like the right direction. How has the collaboration with Xbox been for you guys, and what have Xbox brought to the table for you?
そうですね。
Xbox has been really generous with their support. So, they've helped us perform these really large-scale global user research, initiatives to help inform some of the design decisions. But in addition to that, the marketing support has been, tremendous, and as well as some of the technical support throughout the game's development.
And what has the inspiration for this game been? What are the previous games that has inspired you gameplay-wise? How you are optimizing the Ninja Gaiden franchise together? What has inspired this? Is it the old Ninja Gaiden games, or what has the process been there?
まず忍者ガイデンについてのちょっと簡単に。
Yeah, so Ninja Gaiden 4 builds on the foundations of past titles, which is that fiercely intense combat with that full controllability, that sense of precise controls. The new elements that Ninja Gaiden 4 introduces is, some more expressive, these dynamic, stylish combat possibilities. And this is best represented in the Blood Raven form, where, you can unleash these, devastating attacks that allow you to really turn the tides of battle against your opponents, regardless of what seems like completely insurmountable odds at first. And then in addition to that, there's Raven Gear, which are traversal tools that allow you to really engage with full verticality when you're engaging in combat scenarios.
You did the remaster for Ninja Gaiden 2 Black. What did you learn returning to that game and doing the remaster? Because it is such a beloved game. Did you learn anything from returning to that?
Ninja Gaiden 2 Black 自体は今回 Ninja Gaiden.
Yeah, so Ninja Gaiden 2 Black was actually made by a different team internally at Team Ninja. So there's not any direct overlap. But with that said, this year and with Ninja Gaiden 2 Black, it's been a very important opportunity to really revisit Ninja Gaiden and really understand on a deep level what makes it tick. And, this is only relevant to Ninja Gaiden 2 Black specifically and for Team Ninja. But Ninja Gaiden 2 Black was the first time Team Ninja used Unreal Engine to make a game. So there were a lot of, technical insights that we gleaned throughout that process.
We just saw a presentation of the game. The combat looks very great, very good. But of course, it's when Platinum and Team Ninja collaborate, what to expect. What is your own favorite part of this game? If you should pinpoint one thing that you yourself like the most from this game, what is that?
So I think, my favorite aspect of Ninja Gaiden 4 is the Blood Raven form, which is, it's this new system that really allows you to unleash these really expressive, dynamic attacks. And it's my favorite part just because not only of how cool it is, but throughout the development process, there was a lot of, deep conversations that were happening between Nakao and Hirayama in terms of how do we take this new system and how do we really incorporate it into the foundational Ninja Gaiden experience. And if you were to compare, for example, how Blood Raven, form worked just a year ago compared to how it works now, there were a lot of adjustments that were made. So, it was a very fulfilling, process in terms of how do we bring these new systems and incorporate it into Ninja Gaiden.
そうですね。またですね、ヌエの方だけでは。
Yeah, so with Ninja Gaiden 4, we made sure to retain, those legacy moves and techniques that you found in prior Ninja Gaiden games. But on top of that, we've really, fleshed out the number of options that are available to you in combat. And I think this is something that was made possible through this collaboration between Platinum Games and Team Ninja. So I'm especially proud of what we were able to accomplish in terms of that variety and diverse tool set that's available.
It looks super cool. I'm very excited to play it. Lastly, I just want to ask, because we're here at Gamescom, it's a celebration of video games, right? Have you had the chance to check out any games yourself? Is there anything here at Gamescom that you think, wow, I want to play that myself?
Yeah, so unfortunately, since coming to Gamescom, we've been doing interviews, all the time. So we actually haven't had a chance to check out any games, but there are some very notable, kind of these global scale action games that we're interested in. So if we have the time, we'd like to get in line and do some market research.
そうですね。同じく全然私有するタイミングがなく。
Yeah, same for Nakao. He hasn't had the chance to play anything, but there's just so many really interesting games that are here, and a lot of which were had new footage revealed at opening night live and such. So if we can find the time, we'd like to try to check some of those games out and play them for ourselves.
I just want to say thank you so much for doing this interview, and thank you so much for doing this collaboration. It's so cool that you're coming together, bringing this franchise back. Can't wait for October. Yeah, thank you so much for your time. Ja, mine damer og herrer, så er vi tilbage igen. Og hey, vi er på vej hjem fra Gamescom, men lad os lige lave en lille optag til et lille kort interview. Fordi Nicolaj, vi er inde og lave et interview med 2 udviklere fra The Rogue Prince of Persia. Et spil, som er shadow-dropped hos Ubisoft. Ja. Og jeg har jo spillet The Rogue Prince of Persia. Jeg spillede i en preview-event for et år siden sådan noget. Og folk vil jo huske på, at jeg kan godt lide det spil. Jeg synes, det er ret godt, Nicolaj. Eller det synes jeg i hvert fald dengang. Men jeg gider ikke spille Early Access-spil. Jeg orker det ikke. Jeg vil spille ting, når de er fucking færdige. Jeg gider ikke være QA-tester, okay?
Klart.
Jeg orker det ikke. Jeg er konsolspiller. Jeg vil gerne have luksus.
Du vil have, tingene virker i hvert fald.
Jeg vil have, tingene virker. Så jeg har glædet mig til at spille det. Det skal jeg helt klart nu. Nu er det Shadow Drop. Vi har et rigtig godt... Jeg synes faktisk, det er godt... Nej, jeg lover jer, det er et godt interview. Jeg vil gå så langt.
Det er et godt interview.
Det er ret godt. Det var så godt, at Nicolaj bagefter sagde, Morten, det var sgu godt interview, du lavede der.
Ja, det var rigtig godt. Det var det. Jeg synes, det var virkelig sjovt interview. Der sker også nogle sjove ting. Der var også nogle bombshells.
Ja.
Du får i hvert fald, PR.
Det er rigtigt.
PR-personen til at... Og altså sådan kollapse af grin og sådan
og gemme sit ansigt.
Og gemme sit ansigt i sine hænder sådan her.
Ja, det er rigtigt.
I bare sådan... Ja.
Det er rigtigt. Hey, men inden at vi kommer til Ubisoft, hvad hedder det? Daniel Mølhøj, du har også lavet et interview.
Ja, det har jeg i hvert fald. Vi var så heldige at få lov til at komme ind og spille det nye Lego Batman, og det er jo en kæmpe national
Har du
stolthed.
spillet det?
Jeg har spillet det.
Okay, shit.
Jeg har spillet omkring en time af det.
Hvad synes du?
Det ved jeg faktisk ikke, om jeg må sige.
Må du
men,
det?
Jeg kan i hvert fald sige, at jeg har spillet det, og jeg vil sige, jeg var rigtig glad for, at jeg fik spillet det.
Okay.
Fordi jeg havde en masse forbehold med det her spil her, fordi at det sidste Lego-spil, jeg spillede, det var Lego Horizons, og det var fint.
Hvad gav du det?
Der skal vi tilbage i banken. Ja. Jeg tror, jeg gav det 3 eller 4.
Okay.
Ikke super solgt på det. Og det var simpelthen fordi, at jeg synes, at det var mærkeligt, det her med at skulle have Horizon i den her sådan form.
Ja.
Så da Lego Batman ligesom blev annonceret, så
du lige spyttet på min fod.
Ja, det ved jeg godt. Det kan du bruge til senere. Men da Lego Batman...
det kommer jeg til.
Ja,
yeah, baby!
Lubricant. Men der er det her med at have en velkendt franchise, som kan bære sig selv som Batman, som var noget, der tiltalte mig. Så jeg er super glad for, at jeg kom ind og fik de her svar her. For, er det godt? Er det skidt? Ja. Jeg føler mig afklaret nu. Ja. Men det jeg også er rigtig glad for, det er, at vi fik fat i ingen ringer end game directoren for spillet inde hos TT Games. Og det er simpelthen... Det var fantastisk at tale med ham. Ja. Men jeg vil også sige, han var en lukket bog. Ja. Fordi det vi spillede, det var jo pre-alpha. Ja. Så det her med sådan at vide, hvor lang tid jeg arbejdede på det.
Shit. Det vil jeg ikke sige.
Det var han sgu ikke meget for. Men jeg fik alligevel fortalt ham det her med, hvilken national stolthed det er at få Lego ud over stepperne. Det her. Sverige har Minecraft, Danmark har Lego, og det er jo det, som vi jo skal holde fast i, og det var han jo helt enig i. Det var så fedt. Så det kan jeg kun anbefale, det her interview. Det er super kort, men det er stadig rigtig godt.
Hvad er super kort?
Ja, det var...
We like Lego is from Denmark.
Nej. Det var det.
Okay, bye.
Jeg ved bare, hvor lang tid du snakker, Morten. Jeg tror, det er det handler om. Men hvad hedder det nu? Det er super godt. Det er super komprimeret, og det skal I virkelig se frem til. Det skal jeg lige. Kom her.
Så lad os tage det her, og lige efter, så er der et interview med os, der snakker med Ubisoft-udviklerne. Har kæft, man! Are you not entertained? Det håber jeg, fordi vi ved...
content.
Det er i hvert fald content.
God damn! Alright, jamen vi har lige været inde og prøve en hel omgang af Lego Batman, og jeg er nødt til at sige, at det er simpelthen fuldstændig vanvittigt godt. We're standing here with...
my name's Matt Ellison. I'm the executive producer at TT Games.
So, first of all, what a fantastic national feeling to play a Lego game in this scale. So first of all, why is it important to utilize Lego in collaboration with Batman?
So Lego is an amazing brand, an amazing IP that we've worked with for many years. And I think Lego brings such creativity and such joy to so many people. Being able to apply another IP like Batman and bring those things together creates opportunities for us to create play experiences as well in games that people really enjoy and react well to.
Yeah, definitely. Well, seeing Lego in such a big scale, we've seen it for a long time, and of course there was a Lego movie where Batman was also part of a larger scale. So playing the game, I got a sense that of course the humor is there, but it's toned down a little bit to take the role of more of a conveyor of different things like combat and being in that. Writing a story, a Batman story in this universe, what kind of challenge was that?
So this is an original story, so it's something that we've worked very closely with DC and Lego on to bring together what we feel is the essential Batman story. So we've taken moments from Batman's past across films, TV, cartoons, and even games, brought these iconic moments together in a new experience. And that's something that Lego allows us to do. We can bring all of these different looks of Batman together in a way that you can't really do easily in any other sort of medium. Lego allows for us to bring these things together. So that's really exciting, and we're delighted that the story the story that we've got. We're so pleased with it. And there is going to be sort of funny moments throughout. Batman is quite a dark character with some dark history, but we're able with Lego to put some spin on that to make sort of more lighter moments and things that people are going to really enjoy playing.
So, when designing a game like this, that is very like a game like Gotham City, how challenging is it to make a Lego Gotham City?
So, this is fundamentally a Lego game. We've got a lot of experience of making these games, and there are things that we wanted to make sure we improve from the previous games. So we look at things like the story, but we also look at things like combat, at vehicles, and how can we upgrade the experience in other areas. So that's what we've really been focusing on, and what we're hoping people will experience when they play the game.
So earlier and in the past, Lego games have been majorly silent. Now we've seen with Lego Horizon and now Batman that the voices have come into a bigger play. Why are you choosing to keeping the narrative and the voice acting in there and not just the gibberish that we know the earlier Lego games for?
Yeah, so that's something that we've made a decision to do for quite a long time now. So that allows us to tell a deeper story. It allows us to, like I say, bring these different moments together that people will recognize, put twists on things, have some fun with things, but it just allows us to tell a more deep narrative than if we didn't have the talking to communicate the story. So we think that that's something that really elevates the experience and allows us to put more humor in there as well.
Humor is a big part of it. Playing the game, there was a lot of very, very, very funny aspects of it, but also very chaotic. It's very all over the place. How has the development been for this game? How long have you been developing the game for?
I don't think we're putting an exact time on it. I'm not actually sure, but it's something that we've been working on for quite a while. And we're really pleased with how it's all come together. There's a lot of action in this game. There's a lot of different things to experience, but we've also got puzzle moments as well. And even in the gameplay, you can drop in and have to take on a big swarm of enemies, or you can take a different approach. You can take a more stealthy approach and take out enemies one by one, use your gadgets in the combat as well. So there's lots of different ways you can approach the problem of taking out a group of enemies.
Right. So now we got this fantastic story. We got this fantastic world right now. Will this be a standalone game, or are you going to add anything onto it in the future?
We're not discussing anything right now. We're just working on finishing this game. So that's our main priority right now, and what all of our attention's going into.
Okay, great. I think that's good. All right. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you. Cool. It's a pleasure.
Everybody, and welcome back again. I'm sitting here with two very special people because they have done a game that I am quite excited to play because I played it in a preview build last year, and it is the Rogue Prince of Persia. And I'm speaking with what's your name? Dylan?
My name is Dylan. Yeah.
Dylan, like the guy from Beverly Hills?
Yeah, that's actually the origin story of my name.
What is it?
Yeah, my mom is a big fan of Beverly Hills.
But Dylan is the bad guy, isn't he?
Yeah, but I think he's cute.
Yeah,
so that's why.
Well, what an origin story.
Yeah.
And what's your name? Your name is Matthew. I just read it on your
It is
sign.
Matthew. I'm like, I don't know what to say. I did not know this knowledge. I'm taking it back to the studio.
You didn't know he was named from
no,
after Dylan? What?
Because his mum loves a bad guy. Like, what?
Okay, so I played this game at a preview event last year or something, an online preview event, I think.
Yeah.
And I really liked it. I really, really liked it. But I also have this thing there. It went out in early access, and I don't want to play early access games.
I get that.
Yeah. I like to play them when they're done. And to my surprise, apparently it is done because this game shadow dropped.
Yep.
Like yesterday?
Yesterday, yeah.
Okay, so how long have you been sitting on this information?
2 months?
Yeah,
2 months, yeah.
Wow. Okay. And what can you tell us a little about what went into making this game? Because it's in the name. It's a roguelike.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. So as you said, we dropped in early access last May, and basically we got a lot of feedback straight away of like what was missing. So we've added like meta progression systems. We've tripled the number of weapons. We've added like 5 biomes, like 4 bosses, like a lot of stuff. Basically, we've more than doubled the content in early access. There's a giant art rework as well.
That's your department, right? You're the art director. Was that right?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, tell me a little about how did you land on the art style of the Rogue Prince of Persia, because it stands out, right?
Yeah, I hope so. I mean, that was the goal.
Yeah.
So yeah, we wanted the game to have a bold and unique look, so very colorful and very graphic. So what I always say is the 2 main inspirations are the Persian miniatures, which are paintings from ancient Persia, and French comic books.
Yeah.
So I tried to mash these 2 together to have something unusual and looking good, I hope.
Yeah, I like the art style.
Thank you.
I also really like the game. There's something about, and I actually said this on the podcast, so obviously Hades is a great game and stuff. I said many times that I like this game better. There's something about it being a 2D platformer that just speaks to me more than a game. Not to take anything away from Hades, it's a great game, but there's something nostalgic yet evolutionary about this approach to this game. Can you talk a little about how you ended up on making a rogue-like Prince of Persia game in the first place?
Should I answer this? Yeah. Okay. So at Evil Empire, we were working on the DLCs for Dead Cells before, so that was our expertise, and we thought it would be a good mashup to bring the story and universe from Prince of Persia with this type of 2D action platformer roguelike. And so when we started thinking about it, we thought, okay, what's the ADN, what's unique about Prince of Persia? And we thought it's the acrobatic movement and combat.
Yeah.
So the first thing we tried is the back wall run. That ended up being the unique feature of the game. So every time you have a wall behind you, you can run on this wall. And I think this is what makes the platforming of the game so unique, because you enter this flow state once you start to get the hang of it, and you can just go from combat to parkour to combat, and it's very satisfying once you master it.
Yeah. So, how have you played Ninja Gaiden Ragebound? Okay,
I haven't.
You haven't?
No.
It's okay. But what is really funny is that it seems like something's happening in the industry, and I really like this. Smaller studios are giving the chance to work on big IPs. Ninja Gaiden Ragebound is like made from the Blasphemous guys, and there's something super interesting in how you use this IP, how you enrich the franchise, and how you are able to take chances on franchise. I really like that. Did you have any feelings for it? Did you like the original Prince of Persia games, or did you grow to like the universe making this game?
No, for sure. I like the games. I was playing the Sand of Time game when I was a kid, and so it's really refreshing to, as you said, smaller studio taking like a big franchise, big games, and making their own spin on it, And so we had this opportunity and this chance from Ubisoft to use the Prince of Persia franchise and make something different, something that I think it's taking the roots from the Prince of Persia games, even like the old one, the 2D one, and adding the modern spin on it. Yeah. Do you want to add something?
No, just me too. Like I played this Sands of Time when I was a kid, and like in the first 5 minutes, I unplugged my PlayStation and took it to my friend's house to be like, look at this, look at the wall, and look at the curtain coming off the wall. I was like, so yeah. When we had this opportunity, I asked, I was like, can I do the marketing for this?
Yeah.
This is awesome.
How big a team are you guys?
Around 15.
50 people?
15.
15?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Very impressive.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that's the thing you can do today, right? You don't have to have big teams to make great games anymore.
No, not at all. And well, it did take 4 years, so maybe we could have done with a few more people. But yeah, no, for sure. And like everyone in the team has input. Dylan says it's like a horizontal kind of a way of working. Yeah. Everyone can kind of give their opinion on something and can try stuff out. So there's a lot of like collaboration, and especially like in early access with the community as well. On Discord, it's a very kind of collective way of working, which is interesting.
I gotta ask you, and I ask a lot of developers this. I asked the Machine Games guys from Indiana Jones and 007, which is the Danish studio, right? But we talk a lot about how you export culture through video games. And of course, Remedy with Alan Wake 2 has Finnish culture in it. Is the French culture represented in your game?
Well, I'm English, so I'm going to pass this to the Frenchman.
Yeah. I mean, in a way, because as I said, we used the French comic book as an inspiration for the art direction. Yeah. So I think that's one way the French culture is represented in the game. Yeah. But more importantly, I think it's the Persian culture that is represented in the game. Because we tried to be as accurately, as historically accurate as possible.
How do you do that when you're not Persian yourself?
It's very difficult because there are not a lot of things remaining from this era. So the game is set in the Sasanian era. Yeah. And so it's just internet research. Basically, I cannot lie. That's the main thing.
Yeah,
no, maybe not.
Nicolaj said asking ChatGPT. Yeah. But I would do that. Yeah, but is there any plans to evolve this games? What do you want to do now when it's out? Is there DLC planned? Do you dream of? I know you can't announce shit here, right? So, but is there dreams of doing like a sequel, learning from the first one, or adding stuff to it, or are you on to the next game? What now after learning so much from the early access period?
Well, indeed, that's not something we are allowed to talk about. That's not something that we know even. We'll
I
see.
can feel the evil eyes from the PR person over here. No.
But what I can say that there will be other games, that's for sure. Yeah. And about the Rogue Prince of Persia, let's see how things go. Yeah.
Do you have some dream franchises, right? Now we're not announcing stuff, but if you could take a franchise, a known IP, and do the Rogue Prince of Persia. Oh man, there is something, guys. Okay. But if you had the chance, a dream franchise that you could put your spin on it, what game or universe, franchise, what would it be?
Well, there might be one that I cannot talk about, so I won't talk about this one. And the one that I would really like, personally, it would be... Is it Rayman or is it yours?
Rayman!
That would be great.
Oh, Rayman! Yeah.
That would be awesome.
Who owns the rights to Rayman? Oh, man.
I wonder. I'm not sure right now.
Yeah. Everybody, man, if Astrobot and all these platformer games has shown us anything, is that we need more platformer games, man. Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah. Rayman Legends is like still one of my favorite platformer games ever. Yeah.
Yeah. And if we could revive Tony Hawk, that would be great.
In a 2D space? Oh, yeah. Like a side-scroller?
But he's using rollerblades and not a skateboard. That's my dream game.
Yeah. Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a good idea. What about you?
So I did answer earlier, Rayman, but I was thinking if it's just IP, like I would say either Alien or Predator. I would love to do like a maybe
Have you seen Alien Earth?
Game.
Have you seen Alien Earth?
No, I haven't had the chance to watch it yet.
Oh man,
and it's been on my
do it.
I'm gonna as soon as I get back home, I'm sitting down for the whole day with some popcorn and just watching the whole thing. Yeah.
Like I really think like these big IPs, I think that's the fascinating part, right? That is taking this giant IP and rethink it. I think that is what is inspiring by Ninja Gaiden Ragebound.
Yeah.
And like with your game, the Rogue Prince of Persia.
Yeah, and I hope big studios like keep doing it, because I think it's a really cool way of like experimenting and seeing what works. It doesn't stop you from doing the big AAA stuff either. You
and
can
it's
have both.
adding to the franchise. In Denmark, we have this game. There's this studio called Ghost Ship. They did this game called Deep Rock Galactic.
We know the guys.
And they have there's another Danish video game company called Fun Day Games. They did an add-on like it's called Deep Rock Galactic Survivor.
I have like 100 hours in this game.
Really?
Yes. I play it on my lunch break.
Yeah, I think it's coming to console. I don't know if this is announced. Beep it if this isn't announced. But yeah, I think it's coming to console soon. It's super great. It's like
I think it is, because we run the III initiative, and I think we announced the 1.0 release date trailer. Yeah, we did. Yeah, in April. Yeah.
But it's just a great example on adding on to a franchise like you are doing with the Rogue Prince of Persia.
Yeah. I completely agree. Yeah. You see the DNA in it, but it's its own thing, but it also has an influence, and it makes something completely special on its own. Yes.
Okay, so I gotta ask you, we are here at Gamescom, it's a celebration of video games, right? Have you had the chance to watch any games, see any games, experience any games?
I haven't had a lot of time, but I did play Borderlands 4.
What do you think?
I think it's a Borderlands game, as it should.
Yeah.
It looks good. It plays good.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
I'm not just saying this because we're in the Ubisoft booth, but I played the Heroes of Might and Magic Olden era.
Oh my god! Seriously?
I played the third one so much with my brother, and I played it, and honestly, it's good.
We were at Gamescom last year, and they had this at Ubisoft. They had this secret unannounced game, and we were in, and all of a sudden, they announced, we're doing this new Heroes game. And I was the only one that just, what?
That was me too.
It was so great. We had a lovely interview with the developers. I'm really looking... That's also a great example of returning to smaller scale. And is Ubisoft getting back? Are they getting good again?
I have to say yes. I do really appreciate when bigger studios do take the chance to do this kind of stuff. So yeah.
Great. Okay. Thank you so much for your time. I won't take any more time from you, but thank you so much for this game. I really, really love the Rogue Prince of Persia. Everybody should throw away everything they have in their hands and go play it. And now it's available on consoles.
Yeah, except Switch, which is coming soon. But everywhere else you can get it.
Yes.
So go play it.
What is your favorite way to play the Prince of Persia?
Mine's Steam Deck.
Steam Deck?
Same. I think it's the best way to play the game.
So people should be really excited about the handheld version on Nintendo.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, great. Thank you so much for your time.
Hej alle sammen, Julia her. Jeg hopper lige ind og laver en introduktion til næste interview, for Morten han glemte at sælge det godt nok. Vi interviewer om lidt Brandon Adler, der er instruktør på The Outer Worlds 2, og sammen med ham selveste Leonard Boyarsky. Leonard er en legende og var en af hovedarkitekterne bag blandt andet Fallout 1 og 2, Vampire the Masquerade, Bloodlines og Diablo 3. Nu er han ved Obsidian Entertainment og en af de primære kræfter på The Outer Worlds. Leonard er for vild! Det var bare lige det. Tilbage til jer gutter på Gamescom.
Let's get out there and buy our way to victory!
For you. For you.
An adventure made for capitalism by capitalism.
Hello everyone! we are at the interview I am most excited for today because we are talking about The Outer Worlds 2. And I'm sitting here with two legendary developers from Obsidian Entertainment. Can you introduce yourselves to the audience?
Yeah, Brandon Adler, game director on The Outer Worlds 2.
I'm Leonard Buarski, the creative director on Outer Worlds 2.
Okay, so the marketing campaign for this, I just told you, has been out of this world. It has been so funny. And also, the perks of these games are extremely fun. When I heard in Xbox Inside Developer directly earlier this year, the knee thing, it's so funny. What is your own favorite perk in this game?
Oh man, recently, I guess, I actually like the Space Ranger one. So I don't know if that's my favorite, but I'm having the most fun with it right now because there's a lot of options in dialogue that come up when you have Space Ranger.
Yeah.
That you're just like kind of over the top, like, I don't want to say goody-goody kind of person, but you're like, yeah, let's go constantly. So it's actually a lot of fun to roleplay that.
As far as perks go, I'm trying to think because there's a couple I've been like really like trying to choose between and not knowing which one I was going to get. So one I did get recently was explosives. I can't remember the exact name of it, but you can disarm explosives, and we have mines in this game, so I've been disarming mines everywhere. I think I have like 65, 75 mines that I'm carrying around at all times just ready to throw out and make people run into them.
The Outer Worlds is the first one. It's one of my favorite RPG games of all time. You know why? Because it's funny, but also it respects your time. I'm old now, okay? I like when games respect my time. I really enjoy that it takes like 30 hours or something, and then you're done and you have had an incredible run. You have an incredible journey. How long is this game? Is that the same philosophy? How are you developing the sequel here?
Well, the sequel is much larger in every way. That said...
So it will take more of my life.
If you want it to, right? So we've made it so that the core game, the core experience, can be very quick if that's what you want to do, right? It's a very tight experience. That said, we provide a ton of places and a ton of things for you to go that are not on the critical path that, hey, if you just want to experience more of the game, you can go and do that. So you can kind of make it as large as you want it to be.
It is, as opposed to us forcing you to play that amount of game, it's us enticing you to like want to, and like, you know, that great experience of like, oh, I'm only going to play for another couple minutes, and then it's 2 hours later, and you still don't want to stop playing.
How does this game tie into the events of the first game?
This is each of our games from the very beginning when we first started designing the Outer Worlds. We wanted it to be in a different colony, like so that you'd be a different hero, meet different people. The themes are the same. It's, you know, the whole robber barons in space thing. We wanted to expand a lot in this game, so we have Auntie's Choice, which is a merger between Auntie Cleo and Spacer's Choice. They've invaded another colony that didn't have any corporations, but they had this dictatorship that controls every aspect of people's lives. You know, all you had to do was give up all of your humanity, and you would get a life of luxury.
Yeah.
So you're going into that colony, and their state religion has broken off because they decided they really wanted to be a good force for mankind, and they kind of figured out after 100 or so years that, like, hey, maybe that's not the best way to do it. So we just have all these different avenues for humor, as well as deeper storytelling.
Yeah. So I have said this a lot of times on our podcast, but I think Obsidian Entertainment is the most important studio for Xbox and the best one.
We agree.
I agree.
So
you hear that, Phil?
But, you know, it's because, first of all, there's not a developer team that is more productive than Obsidian Entertainment. And this is the year for Obsidian, right? What's funny is that previously, Obsidian Entertainment has taken over a lot of properties. They have famously done, you know, like Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic 2. You have done Fallout New Vegas. But this year, we have seen you making sequels to your own game, to your own franchises, the franchises you created yourself. We've seen it with Grounded 2, which is maybe one of the best survival games out there. Have you played Grounded 2?
Oh yeah, I've played a lot of Grounded 2.
It's awesome. Okay, but how has the approach been making a sequel to? Of course, you have a head of sequels now in Obsidian Entertainment.
Yeah, so I've been told.
But how has the approach been making a sequel to your own IP?
Well, I mean, I think in the very beginning, before they'd even put out the first game, we had evaluated, well, what do we want to tackle in this next set of games, right? So the fact that we already had a good base there is something that we're not really used to when we work on sequels from other people's stuff. So we had a great base to work from. We also had a great tech base to work from. We were able to, again, do that evaluation early and go like, okay, these are the things that we know that people want. We know that they're going to want better gunplay and combat. We know that they're going to want deeper RPG elements. So how do we want to give that to the players? We know that they're going to want to do more exploration in bigger areas because that's going to come back as something they want. So I think it kind of gave us a leg up very early on that we could even start planning that even before the game was shipped. We were able to plan the second one.
So, can you tell us a little about how the approach of making a game is for Obsidian Entertainment? Because you seems like such a unique development team, and first of all, you are able to do a lot of games, both small scale like Pentiment and grand scale like The Outer Worlds 2. What is the approach making a game, and what kind of DNA do you think Obsidian brings to the table that other games maybe don't bring to the table?
Well, I mean, those are kind of like two different questions. So I can answer, one part of that is, how do we make games? How does Obsidian kind of approach this stuff? We like to just be scrappy in general. We like to dig into lots of different aspects of our games. You're going to find people that are artists, for example, that are also deep into RPG design and want to understand that and want to get into that. We're constantly trying to do a lot with the resources we have, and we're constantly thinking about, all right, well, like, what are the ways in which we can actually make more and get more done with what we've got? And we've had a lot of experience with that over the 20 years that we've been around, right? And so we're just taking that to the next level now that we're working with Microsoft. We have some more resources. We have people we can talk to, other studios that we can directly ask questions about, like, how are you doing this thing, or what's the best tech way to kind of deal with this? So that's one of the ways that we're kind of approaching that. And for the other part, I'll kind of leave that to Leonard.
Yeah, I think the DNA from Obsidian comes from way back at Interplay. When we first started making RPGs there. Obviously, I wasn't there at the very beginning of that because that was like in the 80s. But when we were doing Fallout, or they did Baldur's Gate 3 afterwards, or not Baldur's Gate 3, Baldur's Gate afterwards, and then we came out. Me and Tim came over to do this game specifically. There's a desire to do really deep RPGs with a lot of reactivity. I think one of the things that makes us different, and the way we make games a little bit differently, is the fact that we're really into the player as a blank slate. Some Grounded obviously gives you characters, but a lot of times in our RPGs, it's as much about the character and the story you're telling for your own character as it is what's going on in the world.
And Leonard, you touched on this yourself. You've been at Obsidian for a long time, right? You are a legend in the video game development. Can you talk a little about some of your favorites, fondest memories making games? What kind of?
I hear this too.
Yeah.
I've only been at Obsidian almost 10 years now, so it has been quite
it's a
while.
long time.
But I came over there specifically to make The Outer Worlds. I worked with Tim. We had Troika Games. It's just been really, I've been really had just a very fortunate career. The fact that the very first game I was a lead on, was Fallout. I'd never made a game before. I'd been involved in making games before, but I'd never been responsible. And working with Tim and Jason and creating that IP, it just has given us a really, I've been enthusiastic about it since back then. I know there's stuff from every one of my games that I really love. I'd say, in a general sense, the thing that I've learned the most is when you are backed into a corner, or if you have like really tight constraints, is when you come up with your best ideas. Yeah. I can cite all through my career the best things that I think I've done were things that I didn't originally think I wanted to do in the game, or were things I wasn't even thinking of. And it was like, we have this situation. I mean, the intro to Fallout was based that iconic intro is because we could not show human beings really close up in 3D. And that was like where we started. We're like, how are we going to get these characters as far away from the camera as possible and make this still a compelling thing?
Yeah.
And I feel like that's been kind of that's almost the theme of my career, is like, the first Outer Worlds, we were really, really short development time. No one had worked on that type of game before on that engine. We had brand new writers, so it was like we were really, as Brandon was saying, we were really scrappy, just getting in there and doing it, and kind of like discovering what it was as we went, which I think a lot of people aren't comfortable with that kind of development, but I think it really gives some real, I think you feel it when you play a game that's built out of that kind of love and dedication.
And speaking of love, right? Making games, it takes a lot of time, take a lot of passion, a lot of hard work. Can you speak a little about what games you love yourself? Because we heard Gamescom, right? It's a celebration of video games. What is some of your favorite or most fondest memories of video games you have played throughout the years?
Gosh, I mean, I have a ton of those. I'll go to the one that I've probably played the most or replayed the most, which is probably Final Fantasy Tactics. Like, I've beaten that game I don't know how many times, and each time I tell myself, all right, I'm going to try a different character, I'm going to do this different thing, and I always end up coming back to like, all right, well, I have a monk that's going to like actually dual punch, and like, I always end up going back to that archetype over and over because I just had the most fun with it. But yeah, that's probably the game that I have some of the fondest memories of early.
I'm kind of torn between Dishonored, which is because I love that whole retro thing, but I love the stealth there. And they made a game that I could actually stealth through, which is a rare thing. But I just love the vibe of that game. It was a completely new world, which obviously that's what I love to do in my game. So I was like really impressed with that. I just love that game from beginning to end. And the other one was like, the Portal series, because it's, I've always been involved with games with a lot of writing, a lot of storytelling, but Portal tells a fairly deep story with almost none of the things that I do all the time. It was just a really great example of how you can do less with more and be really concise in the story you're telling.
So you said this, that you are building worlds, right? And you have been part of some of the most incredible video game worlds ever made, right? What is the approach of building a good world, a good universe with a great story, intriguing story, a great mystery? I think that is a big part of the Outer Worlds too, and I think that's a lot of the satire comes from that. But what is the approach? What makes a great video game universe?
Well, this is easy to say, but very hard to do. It's like making one that people want to play in, that is an exciting world to explore. I can't tell you why we came up with what we did for Fallout, because that was a weird thing where we were going to make a time travel game, and then we're like, no, we're going to make a science fiction post-apocalyptic game, and then I came in with it should be this 1950s thing. There was obviously no overall plan. We just kind of like worked our way through it. But when we started like Arkaden, for example, it's like we started with a very simple idea of like what would happen if an industrial revolution happened in a fantasy world. And it was the same kind of thing with the Outer Worlds. It was like, hey, what if it was kind of like a Firefly meets Fallout world? Yeah. So I guess it's a little bit high concept. But for me, and when I was working with Tim especially, we like really dig down deep into like what kind of stories can you tell in this setting? What are we going to be able to do to expand this setting? Like, it's just, just those concepts, you're like, I can see like 20 games in either of those universes. It's just like things that really spur your imagination from the beginning.
Is Firefly one of the main, primarily, inspirations for the Outer Worlds?
Our original, when we first started, that's one of the reasons we use the language the way we do. Big fans of Deadwood and things like that. Yeah. True Grit, the Coen Brothers version of True Grit is just one of my favorite movies.
Maybe one of the best westerns out. Maybe that and Django Unchained.
Yes. Yeah. So, but yeah, we were really influenced by that stuff. And it was actually Chris Jones, who was one of the founders of Obsidian, and he worked with us on Fallout and Arkaden. He was the one who came up with that concept of like, oh, what if we had a Fallout meets Firefly? And me and Tim were like, oh, we could do all. We just ran with that. We thought that there was so much we could do with that so it is an original touchstone. I don't know how much it continues on. I think there's DNA in there that isn't as apparent in there, that we've made it apparent, and it wasn't like a conscious decision. But they have a lot of the they're not quite corporate, it's more government, but there's the underdog fighting against powerful governments. So there is even a little bit of that, even though that wasn't necessarily what we were trying to take from it. But it was, as most people know, it was a fantastic series.
We really liked About that released earlier this year. But the games seem different, and yet, of course, because of its Obsidian, a little samey in a good way. How have you been conscious about trying to distinguish these two IPs?
I mean, from the very beginning, we had a vision of what we wanted to do with the Outer Worlds 2. It was taking that traditional Obsidian-style RPG from kind of in the past and really, all right, how do we evolve that and kind of push that? We saw what they were doing with Avowed, but we didn't have a lot of cross-pollination there. It was like, look, we sat down and we talked about what we wanted to do and we wanted to execute on that thing. And again, a lot of that was looking back at the older RPGs that we've had, whether it's at Obsidian or other studios, and going like, all right, well, what was the core DNA in those, and how do we evolve that portion? I'm going to be honest with you, a lot of this is, what do I want to have an RPG that I would want to play? Yeah. That's why you have a lot of these deep builds that you can make. That's why there's a lot of interaction with your character in the world itself and how that plays out. And conversations themselves have become so much deeper. And to me, that was just so important in itself. But yeah, I mean, I guess the answer is like, yeah, we have that shared DNA of what an Obsidian game is, but we took our past and we've tried to bring that forward.
Yeah. So I have two quick questions, hopefully, I want to ask. The first one is, if you should say one thing that people should be most excited for by playing The Outer Worlds 2, what would it be?
For me, I think it's like what a lot of people wanted from the original Outer Worlds that didn't have as much depth as they wanted, or that didn't go as deep as usual with Obsidian RPGs usually go to. But for people who love the first one, it's just more of the same, and I think we've really expanded on the concept and done it justice.
I mean, I have to say the exact same thing. From the very beginning, it was, how do we make this a deep RPG? What are the things we need to do to really resonate with people? And I'm proud with what we've actually put out there, and I'm proud that, like, when we talk to press, many times they talk about those RPG elements, those fun things, those perks, those flaws, all the different character builds, all the equipment they're seeing. And so to me, that feels really good, because it feels like we hit the thing we meant to try to hit very early on.
The great thing with The Outer Worlds is that it feels, in the best way possible, it feels like a step back into what a great RPG game used to be. I think that's what excites me, at least. And the last question I want to ask. We had Gamescom. Have you had the chance to check out any games? Have you played anything? Are there anything here that excites you?
Here and do interviews. This is where we're at Gamescom.
Yeah. So you haven't seen anything?
No, we have not. Other than walking in and out.
Yeah, as we're walking into this booth, we see games as we're passing by.
I mean, the new Resident Evil looks pretty nice. So,
yeah, it looks very cool.
Maybe I'll hop in line there. Although the line's like 2 hours long, it looks like. So maybe I'll wait till it dies down a bit.
Get a press card. That's the trick.
Yeah, there you go. I'll just join the press.
Thank you so much for your time. I can't tell you how much I am looking forward to October.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much for this.
Thank you.
Hej alle sammen, og velkommen tilbage. Prøv at så er vi fat i game tilbage på hotellet. Vi er tilbage, og det her det er slut på dag 2 af Gamescom, men kun slut på første halvdel af den her episode, fordi der er jo altså en dag mere i morgen, hvor der sker en masse fede ting. Prøv at, vi er sygt bumpet, vi er pissetrætte. Nicolaj, han har det så dårligt. Prøv at, Nicolaj har det så dårligt, han kommer. Nicolaj, hvorfor har du så dårligt? Hvad sker der med dig? Hvad er der vejen?
Jeg tror bare, jeg er træt.
Nå, det er ikke kun derfor jo.
Jeg tror bare, det er alt det hårde arbejde.
Det er hårdt,
alt det hårde arbejde.
På en skala fra 1 til 10, hvor meget pølser skal du lave?
Jamen, altså 0.
Nå.
Desværre, jeg frygter, at det er den anden udgang.
Er det rigtigt? Tror du skal kaste op?
Jeg tror, jeg skal kaste op.
Er det rigtigt? Du har det sådan kaste op-agtigt?
Ja, det har jeg. Altså,
har du kvalme?
Ja, det har jeg.
Har du sådan...
Jeg har en nervøs mave og kvalme.
Ja. Hvad er nervøs mave?
Det er sådan lidt sådan... Du ved, man kan sådan mærke, at der er gang i den.
Hvad har du gjort? Hvad er der sket? Hvad, altså?
Det ved jeg ikke. Det er nok bare Tyskland, du ved. Tyskland.
Du har fik lov til at bestemme, hvad vi skulle spise i aften, jo.
Jeg tror ikke, det har noget med det at gøre. Der er ingen korrelation mellem min tilstand, der opstod lige for en halv time siden, og det faktum, at vi spiste på Burger King.
Altså, ellers normalt i Danmark,
jeg tror,
en af de bedste restauranter normalt i Danmark. Tyskland, det er en anden sag.
Tyskland er alting er bare ringer i Tyskland.
Det er det. Ej, okay, Nicolaj, hvad hedder det? Vil du hente en øl til mig?
Hun kommer med den.
Hun kommer med den? Okay, fedt nok. Jamen lad os prøve at lave sådan en lille catch-up her til allersidst. Hvad hedder det? Der er en mand, altså, der har sygt meget energi. Altså, Daniel står over.
Han får en mikrofon.
Hvad der sker, Daniel? Altså, hvad du raver for dig selv? Altså, Daniel, hvad laver Daniel Mølhøj, hvad laver du?
Inden for de sidste 3 timer har jeg været ved at dø 4 gange. Det er seriøst.
Daniel, du danser lidt ligesom en Furby.
En eller anden put penge i mig. Jeg er klar til at give gas.
Daniel, hvad mener du med, hvorfor har du været ved at dø?
Prøv at høre her. Der har været så hed debat. Vi har allerede været lidt inde på det. Der har været så
ikke mindst i podcasten.
Nej, prøv at høre. Der var så hed debat på vej hjem fra Gamescom i bilen, at Morten holder midt ude, der hvor der, så hvis man kan vide det, i Køln, der kører der en letbane imellem vejene. Ja. Vi holder midt på sporet, og der kommer et tog. Ja. Der er så vild debat, om vi skal tage tilbage og spise på hotellet, om vi skal tage på Burger King. At der er ingen, der ser det her tog, og jeg kigger ud af vinduet, og jeg tænker så, nu sker det. Så, nu kan vi spare en masse penge her. Hold nu kæft, mand.
Men det var jo faktisk ikke engang, altså det var ikke engang det tætteste, vi har været ved at dø i dag.
Vildt ikke engang det tætteste. Det er fucking sindssygt. Men igen, jeg følte, det var noget af det første, og så blev jeg ligesom mør derefter. Det var som om, at der ligesom kom derefter en følelse af, at nu kan det ske at any moment. Ja. Fordi at, der bliver sagt meget, meget, meget sent. Der bliver sagt alt for sent, at vi skal dreje til højre på et tidspunkt. Og Morten ligger selvfølgelig indersporet, fordi vi skal køre meget hurtigt. Så det, der sker, er, at Morten han jo selvfølgelig bare lukker øjnene, og så drejer han rettet til højre, og så er det ellers bare alle mand for sig selv på den motorvej, der kan gøre. Der blev trådt. Der var nogle bremselygter, der skal have skiftet pære efter det der. Fordi det var fuldstændig vanvittigt. Der blev dyttet, og der var dårlig stemning. Og Morten,
der var god stemning nok.
Morten, du sagde til mig, nej, jeg vil ikke have øjenkontakt med ham. og det er vitterligt en ting, der blev sagt. Og så kørte vi på Burger King. Og nu har Nicolaj, han er spruteskid. Og jeg er så fucking...
Jeg vil ønske, det var spruteskid.
Jeg bare lige sige, Nicolaj, du er så vant til at have en mikrofon i hånden, at du begynder at snakke.
Du bare hånden op.
Du har en mikrofon.
Det er sådan det fatigued level, vi er på lige nu. Det er fuldstændig vanvittigt. Det er så sindssygt. Altså,
det her, det er out of the rail.
Jeg bruger 80% af min hjertekapacitet på at holde op med at kaste op.
Altså, det er det. Altså, jeg var inde og streame for World of Warcraft, ikke? Og jeg laver sådan et torturrum, ikke? Fordi det er sådan et Blizzard, ikke? Jeg laver sådan et kæmpe torturrum. Og mens jeg er ved at lave det her torturrum, så
kigger jeg... The Cosby Room.
Ja, det er vitterligt The Cosby Room. The Cosby Suite. Og så kigger jeg over til højre, og så er der seriøst, I swear to God, en Blizzard-ansat, der står der giver mig det her ansigtsudtryk. Seriøst. Og det er bare fordi hun ved, at jeg sidder og streamer det her. Ja. Og jeg kan bare mærke, at det der, det er så træls, at jeg sidder og laver det her. Men hvad skal jeg gøre? De har jo lavet en hemmelig dør, sådan en bookcase-dør. Hvad skal der være bag bookcasen?
Hvordan laver man et torturkammer? Jamen, altså hun kan da ikke sidde og bebrejde dig for at lave torturkammer, når det er ligesom hende, der har givet dig værktøjerne.
Jeg havde lavet sådan et rum fyldt med ild, og så havde jeg puttet sådan en stol ind i midten, og altså en hel masse sådan Tesla-coils og guns, der sådan rammer ind mod den der, og så er der en stol i hjørnet med sådan en tromme. Så er det en, der sidder og kigger, og så skal han slå på trommen.
What the fuck?
Seriøst. I swear to God, man. I dag har været en dag...
Det en, der sidder og kigger og skal slå på trommen.
Sådan en spectator.
Fuck, man. Det var det, når du skulle ud og repræsentere Arkaden der på streamen foran, jeg ved ikke, hvor mange mennesker, og Blizzard Entertainment. Jeg
sidder med den her trøje på, ikke? Jeg sidder med sådan, altså ingen tvivl om, at jeg kommer fra et sted, vel? Det var, altså, I swear to God, man. Jeg har ikke været den bedste repræsentant for Arkaden i dag.
Eller for Activision Blizzard.
Det ved du hvad, det er lang tid siden, der har været en rigtig repræsentant for Activision Blizzard. Det er, hvad jeg vil sige omkring det.
Er det dagens højdepunkt, Daniel Mølhøj, for dig?
Nej, dagens højdepunkt, det kommer ud som short. Hold øje med vores sociale medier.
Men altså, kan du give en teaser på, hvordan...
Nej, det er sgu ikke, jeg gider ikke give en teaser.
Folk kan ikke... Vi ved ikke, om det er shorten er udkommet.
Vi ved ikke engang, om det udkommer nogensinde. Det er jo ikke engang tid. Det er jo Nicolaj Fogh, der har filmet det. Man ved ikke, hvad der sker.
Har I husket at trykke på optag? Hvad for en short skal folk holde øje med?
Okay, lad mig bare sige. Alle Quentin Tarantino-fans, I skal glæde jer. Der kommer noget med nogle fødder, og det bliver så godt. I skal glæde jer, og det er med en masse cosplayers. Så siger jeg ikke mere. Nu siger jeg ikke mere, fordi så er det næsten for meget.
Fedt.
Man skal se det, før man tror det.
Lad os prøve at tage en runde her. Lad os prøve at høre lidt, hvad er sådan helt kort, fordi vi er kun halvvejs igennem episoden. Det bliver langt. Hvad hedder det? Helt kort, hvad er det fedeste, folk har lavet i dag her på dag 2? Og er det stadig fedt, Mads Lund?
Det er stadig vildt fedt. Det har været en rimelig begivenhedsrig dag.
Men det er, altså, kan bare mærke, når du siger, det er vildt fedt på den vildeste Herning-accent, altså, så føles det ikke vildt fedt.
Jamen, det bliver ikke vildere. Det er ligesom den standard, der ligger.
Hvad er det fedeste, du har prøvet i dag?
Det fedeste, jeg har spillet, er det, jeg må snakke om. Det er Anno 117.
Nå, er det ikke det der Ubisoft-spil?
Jo.
Nå, sindssygt nok.
Jo, det var egentlig okay positivt overrasket over. Det var pænt.
Ja. Der er mange kvinder, der er blevet krænket ved jagten på at lave det spil.
Ja. Man må jo lave nogle ofre.
Det er sygt sagt. Hvad hedder det? Den sidder du lige alene med, den der. Hvad hedder det? Prøv at høre. Hvad med dig, Emil Løgaard? Hvad er det fedeste, du har prøvet i dag?
Jamen, jeg har prøvet mange fede ting i dag.
Hvis du bare skal sige én ting.
Okay, én ting. Jeg synes The Eternal Life of Goldman, som er, det bliver vist frem på et eller andet, det er sådan et håndlavet spil, at de har tegnet det hele i hånden. Og bare på introen, som er måske 30 sekunder, har de brugt et år på at lave den intro.
Så bliver det... Altså, det kommer til at tage noget tid at lave det spil.
Ja, men det kommer udgave næste år, siger de.
Okay, så de har brugt mange år på det?
De har brugt 7 år på det, ja.
Sindssygt nok.
Ja. Det er sådan Metroidvania, hand-drawn Metroidvania. Det ser ret spændende ud. Ret fede mechanics.
Nicolaj Fogh, hvad er det fedeste, du har prøvet hernede i dag?
Da vi var på hernede, der troede jeg, at det fedeste ville være Crimson Desert. Men så var jeg til Capcom i dag og spille Onimusha, Way of the Sword. Og efter det, så tikkede jeg og bedte jeg, og så fik jeg også lov til at spille Pragmata.
Nicolaj Jyde! Hvor er Nicolaj? Er Nicolaj gået ud og skide? Er det rigtigt? Er han gået ned og skide? Sindssygt. Han har det ikke godt. Du spiller, jeg vil gerne høre, hvad Nicolaj synes. Men du har spillet Pragmata?
Ja.
I en halv time?
Yes.
Og det, hvad er det for et spil?
Det er et meget specielt spil. Jeg har ikke hørt noget om det før. Jeg har ikke rigtig nogen forventninger til det. Men det er et skydespil. Third person. Som man kan forvente med puzzle-elementer. Men der er ligesom det her element med, at når du bare skyder på de her robotter, så skader du ikke en skid. Og man tænker lige til start, hvad fanden skal man så? Men hende her pigen, du har AI'en, du har på ryggen.
Du har en pige, som man jo har på ryggen.
Det har man jo.
Ja.
Og så skal du lave sådan en lille minigame, mens du kæmper. Og så hacker du ligesom den her fjende. Og det lyder lidt mærkeligt, når man sidder og
det lyder dårligt. Du sælger det dårligt.
Det gør jeg.
Jeg vil ønske Capcom var her. Eller Nicolaj.
2026 er Capcoms år.
Er det det?
Det er det.
Sindssygt.
Ikke Rockstar, det er Capcom.
Nej. Okay, fair nok. Jamen, det ser vi frem til senere med. Kasper Pedersen, har du hævet dig i banditten til et eller andet i dag?
Jamen, jeg har jo næsten ikke lavet andet, siden vi kom tilbage her. Men det er mest af glæde over, at jeg overlevede den der dødskørsel.
Det er den måde, du fejrer.
Som du sad bag rattet med.
Det er den måde, du fejrer livet på.
Mit liv har aldrig flashet for øjnene af mig så mange gange før. Jeg har aldrig oplevet noget lignende. Nej.
Der er hvor er det godt at være i live. Satan.
Har aldrig følt mig mere i live. Det var psykopat bag det. Det er så sindssygt.
Har du spillet noget godt også? Altså udover...
Tilbage til Gamescom. Den bedste oplevelse. Jeg tror faktisk, det var et interview, som jeg har lavet med CEO'en fra Atari.
Ja.
Wade Rosen.
Ja.
Han er faktisk en cool dude.
Ja.
Det var rigtig hyggeligt.
Hvad har han at sige?
Jamen, han fortalte om sin livshistorie, hans passion for at spille, og hvordan det var at arbejde for Atari. Det var meget cool. Okay. Det var en spændende historie.
Spændende. Kom det ud som en artikel?
Ja.
Spændende. Lasse Rasmussen, hvad er det fedeste, du har prøvet i dag?
Det var at få en præsentation af Night Dive Studios Outlaws, LucasArts.
Prøv at høre her.
Og så snakke med Larry Copperman, som er vicepræsident for Night Dives. Og det var ikke... Ja, og så, vi snakkede om så...
Snakkede I om mig? Sagde du, at der var en, der meget hellere ville være her i dag end dig? Og sagde du til dem, da det var, du kom... Prøv at høre her, hvis I havde spillet jeres kort lidt bedre, så kunne I have fået rigtig meget eksponering igennem en podcast. Så kunne I have fået selveste Morten goddamn fuck Europe.
Jeg snakker også med Larry, han er en cool dude.
Han er fucking cool.
Ja. Hvad er det, et godt spil? Er jeg gået glip af noget?
Altså, det er jo det samme spil, bare...
Men du kender, du har ingen historie. Du aner jo ikke om, hvad det er. Du ved ikke, hvad det er. Du kan ikke sige...
I går vidste jeg jo ikke engang, at det var det, jeg skulle se.
Nej, du kan jo ikke sige til mig, det er jo det samme spil. Du har ikke spillet det samme spil, altså. Du aner jo ikke, hvad det er. Jeg har spillet det. Jeg kunne have siddet og sagt, det der Night Dive CEO, det er fandme fedt. Det kunne jeg have sagt. Men det kan du ikke sige. Du kan bare sige, det ligner jo det gamle.
Men det er fedt.
Er det det?
Det er fedt. Jeg glæder mig til det.
Fuck. Ved du, hvornår det kommer?
Senere i år, tror jeg faktisk.
Er det rigtigt?
Jeg tror, det kommer til oktober, november, tror jeg.
Nej, det vil jeg gerne spille. Sådan helt ægte. Det er sådan helt seriøst. Det er ikke bare noget, jeg siger. Jeg vil fucking gerne spille det. Ja. Kan du måske skaffe mig en aftale med ham der?
Jeg har hans mail.
Har du det? Ja. Det må du godt lige give til mig. Okay, der er altså en her, der kommer op. Nicolaj, han går op. Nicolaj, nu går han ned igen. Nicolaj, har du kastet op? Eller har du skidt?
Det er jo en podcast. Det er en børnevenlig podcast, det her.
Nej, det er det ikke.
Det gider folk jo ikke at høre på, når de sidder
folk er spændt
og lytter til det her på vej til
høre.
arbejde, eller i selskab med deres familie.
Men der er ikke noget... Prøv at høre, ved du hvad? Jeg skal fortælle noget. Når folk er på vej på arbejde, så har de brug for at høre, at der er nogen, der har det dårligere, end de har det. Og når de sidder og kører sammen med deres familie, med deres røvsyge familie i en bil, så har de også brug for at høre, at der er nogen, der har det dårligere end dem.
Jeg har ikke kastet op. Jeg har ikke kastet op.
Nej. Okay, fair nok. Hvad synes du om, Pragmata?
Jeg synes, det er rigtig godt. Det gør jeg.
Nej, det er sgu... Hold kæft, det er fedt at høre. Du har ikke mere at sige.
Jeg synes, det var en rigtig god demo, jeg spillede. Det var en god, godt udsnit. Godt snit, som man siger. Jeg synes, der var noget rigtig fedt gameplay. Jeg synes, der har en fed æstetik. Måske lidt ensformigt. Jeg ved ikke, hvad for nogle omgivelser, der kommer til at være i det fulde.
Er det det fedeste, du har prøvet at se i dag?
Nej, det er det ikke. Men okay. det er den demo, jeg har spillet, som er bedst skruet sammen.
Okay.
Indtil videre i hvert fald.
Hvad er det fedeste, du har prøvet at se i dag? Pragmata.
Det kunne godt være Pragmata. Jeg var meget tæt på at prøve Resident Evil i dag.
Ja.
Det er måske det fedeste, jeg næsten har prøvet i dag. Altså, det var næsten. Jeg har også...
Hvad gik der galt? Var det, at de så dig, eller hvad?
Ja. Det var det nok. Jeg har også næsten overfaldet Tim Schafer på...
Det er ikke løgn! Ej,
da han er ved at gå ud af toilettet.
Nicolaj, prøv at høre. Ved du hvad, nu skal jeg fortælle
Altså, jeg er jo typen... Morten har jo lært mig, man skal aldrig give op. Man skal bare... Prøv at høre, hvis man er nødt til at jagte folk ud på toilettet for at få et interview, så gør man selvfølgelig det.
Det er ikke...
Nej, det gør jeg ikke. Jeg venter. Jeg ser ham gå ind på toilettet. Jeg stiller mig udenfor og venter på, at han kommer ud.
Som en rigtig psykopat.
Som en rigtig psykopat. Det var mere end det, der skete. Og det fører til den mest akavede udveksling, der gør, at jeg ikke har lyst til at snakke med mennesker igen, fordi at det, der så sker, det er, at jeg får fat i deres head of development i stedet for. Og jeg begynder at snakke, kunne det ikke være fedt, hvis I har lyst til at... Har I ikke lyst til at lave et interview? Og han siger, jo, det vil jeg meget gerne.
Ja.
Men det er jo ikke ham, jeg gerne vil snakke med. Det er jo Tim Schafer. Og så spørger jeg hvad med Tim Schafer? Vil han også gerne være med? Så, hans stemme, den skal lige hviles lidt til i morgen. For han har også interviews hele dagen i morgen, og han er helt hæs og dårlig. Altså, og i samme øjeblik, så kommer Tim Schafer ud af døren. Og det samme, at han ser mig... Altså,
så går han tilbage.
Så drejer han om på hælen og begynder at gå væk. Og han siger, no. Og jeg spørger igen dem, der står der blandt andet deres head of development. Skal vi ikke lige lave et interview? Og de siger bare,
Nej, det kan han altså ikke, men vi vil meget gerne interviewe. Og så begynder han at gå head of development, han begynder ligesom at, han sætter sin taske, og han siger, så, let's do this, ikke også? Han er ved klar til at lave interview, og der kan jeg jo godt mærke, der står jeg der med bukserne nede. Hvor er min Morten inde?
Men Nicolaj,
min medvært er her ikke.
aldrig endt i den der situation,
min medvært er her ikke. Tim Schafer er faktisk den eneste, jeg gider at snakke med. Nu skal jeg bare have afsluttet den her hurtigst muligt, så jeg siger til ham, ved du hvad, det er sgu meget fint. Jeg tror ikke, vi skal ikke lave det interview alligevel. Nej, Nicolaj, du er så det var så akavet. Det var meget akavet.
Det var dig, der er skyld i det.
Han havde travlt med at komme væk. Jeg siger ikke, jeg tager det fulde ansvar. Jeg kan stadig ansvaret fra mig.
Altså, du er et skub fra at være et put to lotion in the basket og et kids to hose igen. Ja. Nej, Nicolaj.
Jeg tager det fulde ansvar.
Ja. Ej, det
var virkelig
Nicolaj, har du ikke, altså, du siger, du har lært af mig, men det er jo ikke den måde, man charmerer folk. Det er jo
det, jeg har taget med. At se dig. Og se spredbassen in action. Prøv at høre, Morten, jeg var så tæt på at lande Tim Schafer.
Nej, det var du
jeg glæder mig til, at vi skal snakke med ham i morgen, Morten.
Nej, du har jo ikke... Nej, Nicolaj.
Hvad nu, hvis det er... Hvad nu, hvis det er head of development, vi skal interviewe, Morten?
Jeg håber det, og så håber jeg ikke, du er der. Jeg tror ikke, du skal være med.
Men det er jo content.
Nej, det er ikke content. Jeg får gåsehud af det her. Det kan jeg slet ikke have.
Det kan blive en god short.
Nej, det kan blive det her ikke.
Julia, det kan blive en god short. Bak mig lige op her.
Nej, det er jo dig. Nicolaj.
Har I nogensinde...
Hvorfor har du ikke sagt det, det har været så slemt?
Har I nogensinde...
Du har ikke sagt til mig, det var... Ja, du har ikke sagt det.
Har I nogensinde sådan forestillet jer at møde en af jeres idoler? og så have det der mareridt, hvor man bare sådan... Hvor alt bare går galt, når man møder dem. Har I nogensinde prøvet det? Det prøvede jeg i dag. Ej. Morten, jeg skal med til det interview, Morten. Det er for sjovt. Det er for fedt.
Det er ikke... Det skal du virkelig ikke, Nicolaj. Nej, hvor er det dårligt, det her. Det er skidt. Jeg er målløs. Ja. Det her, det er måske det sidste Arkaden-afsnit nogensinde.
Tror du, det er slut nu?
Nicolaj, har du lagt mærke til...
Vi fløj for tæt på solen.
Nej, du er bare... Nicolaj, du er bare... Jeg ville have spurgt nogle af de andre.
Jeg er sikker på, at de har glemt det i morgen. Jeg er sikker på, at de har glemt det. Jo, det tror jeg.
Hvis det første, han gør til Schafer,
nej, ved I hvad?
når han ser dig,
Nicolaj,
det er at vende om på benene og gå væk.
Nicolaj Fogh var der. Hvorfor gjorde du ikke noget, Nicolaj?
Nicolaj Fogh, var du der seriøst?
Hvor var du?
Nicolaj Fogh, var der? Hvad er det?
Nicolaj, du kunne ikke engang huske, hvad Double Fine var.
Nej, hvad?
Okay, prøv. Okay.
Nicolaj spurgte ham, hvad er det for nogle spil, I har lavet?
Nej.
For det ikke skal være løgn.
Nicolaj Fogh, mener du det?
Så det er dig, jeg har ja, det tror jeg.
Og da 10'eren så faldt, da Tim Schafer står lige ved siden af os, og jeg siger, det er Tim Schafer. Double Fine.
Ej, Nicolaj, du må aldrig nogensinde gøre noget selv.
Det slog mig lige. Den der interaktion, I havde, den gjorde det faktisk også det hele lidt værre. Det tror jeg ikke, de kan tilgive til gengæld. I det mindste vidste jeg, hvad for nogle spil, de har udgivet.
Okay.
Ej, men det var klokken var også mange. Det var lidt spontant.
Mine damer og herrer, vi kan ikke komme tilbage for det her. Men det bliver vi nødt til. Skal vi ikke snakke om noget godt? Er der nogen, der kan redde? Michael, har du prøvet noget godt i dag? Michael Engelbrecht, har du prøvet noget godt i dag? Har du spillet noget godt?
Værsgo, Michael.
Fuck. Ja. Der er sådan en gravøl-stemning nu.
Det har jeg ikke, nej.
Det er løgn.
Det er faktisk løgn. Ja. Jeg har været nede i Games Danmark-området og grædende dernede og sagt, jeg må kun lave business. Jeg må ikke spille noget som helst. Og de søde mennesker ved Bitfire Games sagde, kom ind og prøv Dark Swarm.
Ja.
Og det var fedt. Det var ret fedt. Så det var dejligt. Til gengæld havde jeg en spændende oplevelse. Vi har været på businessmøder sammen i dag, Morten.
Hvad har vi haft?
Vi har haft møder sammen.
Ja, men hvad har der været spændende oplevelser?
Vi må jo ikke rigtig snakke om, hvem vi besøger, men vi besøger nogen, som faktisk er ret interessante i dag. I forhold til et potentielt samarbejde. Ja. Og det vi rammer her, nu ved jeg ikke, om I har lagt mærke til det, Morten, han er en ret energifyldt person. Og der mødte vi en lige så energifyldt person.
Det er rigtigt.
Jeg har aldrig været til et businessmøde, som var så lidt business-minded, som det møde der.
Det var hyggeligt nok.
Forestil jer 2 gange Morten Urup, og så skulle snakke forretning. Der var jo ikke meget forretning i det. Til sidst må Morten gå afsted og sige, I tager lige det sidste.
Jeg skulle have et interview. Hvad har du spillet godt i dag? Har du sagt det?
Jeg har spillet Dark Swarm, og så bliver jeg bare nødt til lige at sige en lille bitte ting, som jeg ikke har spillet. Men mens vi stod dernede, så talte vi med lidt forskellige spændende mennesker. Og så mødte vi en, som havde stiftet et studie, som hedder Fable Systems.
Ja. I Aarhus. Jeg er ret sikker på, at han sidder i Aarhus.
Det kan godt være. Og der så jeg et spil, som hed Lost in Transit.
Det var det med dukken, ikke?
Det var det. Og det tror jeg, til jer, der kigger og lytter med, det kommer I til at støde på et eller andet tidspunkt. Og det skal I glæde jer til.
Det er et billede med en hånddukke, der siger alle mulige sindssyge ting til dig. Det ser... Ja.
Det ser fucking sindssygt ud.
Det er ret fedt.
Det skal I glæde jer til. Noget,
jeg også skal glæde til, det er... når vi er tilbage efter det her. Eller skal vi lige prøve... Hey, Morten VP. Hey, Morten VP. Har du spillet noget godt i dag? Vil du afslutte med at sige noget fedt?
Jeg kan også sige noget dårligt.
Du kan også sige noget dårligt. Så gør det. Ja. Helst noget godt.
Jamen, jeg synes også, vi skal give et indblik i, at Gamescom heller ikke kun er Sunshine and Rainbows. Fordi jeg har været inde ved en rigtig sød mand i dag. Men han var træt af at være der. Han var lige så træt af at være der, som jeg var der. 4 demoer. Back to back. Og det var 4 spil.
Ja, det var 4 spil?
Ja, det var 4 spil.
Ja.
Men det var ikke så gode spil.
Nej. Er det derfor, du har trøstebamsen?
Nej, det er min gode historie.
Nå, det er din gode historie. Ja. Jeg vil bare gerne have haft en. Ja. Du er gået med den dårlige.
Det her, det er Ralf.
Ja.
Som jeg har fået inde ved, jeg tror, de her Mimi Studios fra Kina, som laver noget, der hedder Honor of Kings.
Er det
World.
fedt?
Det var overraskende fedt. Det har den fine titel, at det er et Eastern Fantasy multiplayer action RPG.
Jeg er så overrasket over, at du er her i dag, Morten. Fordi i går, i går, der sker noget sindssygt. Vi er ude at spise. Felix Sanchez fra Nintendo Live, han er
Vi nåede jo ikke ud at spise.
Nej, vi ledte efter noget at spise, så fandt vi det ikke. Hvad hedder det? Men Felix, han har en billet til en Witcher 3-koncert.
Ja.
Og Felix vil gerne have en med.
Ja.
Og lige pludselig, altså, du skal have den fulde Gamescom-oplevelse. Og vi andre, vi siger, at Felix, vi skal hjem. Og vi bor altså langt væk fra der, hvor det foregår. Ja. Vi skal hjem. Ja. Men der er en, der ikke skal hjem.
Ja, det var mig.
Det er dig. Og vi er overbevist om, at vi ikke ser dig igen, Morten. Vi er overbevist om, at nu bor du derude. Nu bor du der.
Blev del af køen.
Vi var overbevist om, at når vi fandt dig...
Dagen efter kommer jeg med sådan en læsetøj og en købsvøj.
Cash!
Kan jeg få en euro til noget narko?
Der er vi ret med at sige, Morten, hvad er der sket med dig?
Det var hårdt.
Det er sgu ikke... Det er godt.
Hvad er den værste dag i mit liv?
Der er sket nogle dårlige ting for mig.
Nej, jeg havde...
Kunne I bruge en skribent på, kan? Nej.
Du må godt være med igen.
Men du kom hjem.
Jeg kom hjem med jeg siger dig, Mahmoud, han kunne køre en proberbil hjemme på motorvejen. Han tog den med 165, hvor man kun må køre 100.
Ja.
Han var ligeglad.
Det var godt. Du kom.
Det var den fedeste Witcher-koncert.
Det var dejligt.
Ja.
Noget, der også var dejligt, det har været... Jeg ved ikke, jeg er helt rystet over Nicolajs historie. Han står her, altså jeg kan slet ikke...
Jeg synes, det her det er det bedste afsnit, jeg nogensinde har set sådan på afstand og set dig grine som sæl.
Mine damer og herrer, Vi er kun halvvejs, og jeg ved, der sker mange flere ting. Så vi er tilbage lige efter det her, og så er det dag 3, den sidste Gamescom-dag, hvor der altså også er mange spændende interviews for Nicolaj. Og jeg i hvert fald,
Måske kun for dig.
I hvert fald et sted, hvor Nicolaj ikke skal med, ved jeg. Men vi har faktisk nogle ting, jeg vil ikke afsløre det, for der er 2 spændende ting, som måske lige skal lande. Men 2 prominente personer, og så har vi... det er tilbage lige efter det her. Hej kære lytter, det er mig her fra fremtiden. Prøv at høre her. Vi har lavet så meget indhold ned til Gamescom, at vi simpelthen har besluttet... Nej, vi har ikke bare besluttet, vi har set os nødsaget til at dele de her episoder op i 3 afsnit. Og det betyder, at episoden stopper nu. Men det er kraftedeme vigtigt, at I ved og forstår og anerkender, at for at lave Arkaden, så har vi brug for jeres hjælp. Og der er jo måder, man gør det på. Blandt andet, så kan man støtte os inde på Arkaden. Plus, det er faktisk det primære sted. Man kan også købe noget merch. Gør begge dele. Hvorfor gør I ikke begge dele? Kom nu i gang. Hvem skal bruge rugbrød, når man kan lytte til podcast? Det jeg ved ikke. I don't know, man. Prøv at høre. Vi er så taknemmelige for, at folk gider at støtte os, og støtte op omkring det projekt, der hedder Arkaden. Vi kan vitterligt talt ikke gøre det uden jer. Og det er jo sådan, at hvis man støtter med 85 kroner eller mere, så får man også et shoutout her i podcasten, altså støtter inde på Arkaden. Plus 10'er eller MobilePay med 85 kroner eller mere, så får man et shoutout. Og vi kan jo ikke. Vi bliver nødt til det. Prøv at... Julia! Ja, Morten. Start noget musik. Okay. Der var musikken. Wow. De mennesker, som skal have et shoutout. Et særligt shoutout. De mennesker, som lige går den ekstra mil, eller hvad man kan sige, for at støtte os. Det er... Jeg skulle lige synge noget spyt. Det er en dårlig start. Kenneth Steinmeier Winter, A.K.A. Bamsefar, Benjamin Lyngkilde, Jonathan Wahl Knudsen, Niklas Mikkelsen, Asger Lindegaard Andresen, Andreas Sandoval Avnsbjerg, Tobias Jeppesen, Charlie Gros Kolby Hansen, René Dalby Carlsen, Rasmus Odders Kjær Budebyg. I har sgu også nogle mærkelige navn. Er det jeres rigtige navn? Okay, Anders Eggenberg Østerby, alias Grisengrønte, Ray, A.K.A. Wet Fish Fingers, Henrik Jacobsen, Mathias Rønnelund, Anders Melgaard Andersen, Martin Held Krog Andersen, Jakob Sundbøl, Jonas Hammer Henriksen, A.K.A. Ham der knipper, René Dalby Carlsen, Andreas Harborg, Mikkel Ingemann Kors Rasmussen, William Ålestrup, Bjørn Larsen Holm, Thomas Eagle-Eye, Oddmand, Morten Bro Østergaard, Jeppe Sandholt, Thomas Dratt, A.K.A. #Foron, Sebastian Bachmann, Thomas Drang Pedersen, Kim Thu Jensen, Dennis Høholm, til Mathias End Jensen, Kasper Larsen, A.K.A. Nitro Rang, Robert Ulf Høgh, Bergo Løv Rasmussen, Brian Kaiju Nielsen. Jeg bliver forpustet af det her. Søren Lundgaard, Kenneth From Petersen, Johnny Practice, Kim Stolstorff, Lars Boer Ellevang, Patrick Haub Larsen, Simon B. Rasmussen, A.K.A. Dream Forger. Det er ham, der skaber vores drømme. Nicolaj Vortegård, han skaber nogle artikler inde på Arkadens. Tak fordi du også støtter os her, Nicolaj. Hvad laver du? Nej, fedt. Christian Biskov, Vindslev Andersen, Kasper Nørgaard Nielsen, John Guldberg, Lars Jonstrup, A.K.A. Speedfish, Morten Frisk, A.K.A. Alfresco, Daniel Novskov Axelsen, Stefan Østerbød, Stefan Østerbøm Hedegaard, Adishan Shahai Petersen, A.K.A. Prime, Dennis Juler Højsur, Markus Runge, Fattig Berber, Jonasen Christensen, Miles Rødder, Michael Emden, Thor Tager Nielsen, Visti Stålgaard, A.K.A. Misti, Magnus Abelsen, Anders Corneliusen, Niklas Baktino, Kenny Jones, A.K.A. T.I.K.H. Jeg har sagt det navn forkert så mange gange. Tage Petersen Miller, Simon Brinkmann Bugleitner, Michael Hav Kjærsgaard, Jonas Broholm, Andreas Michael Jørgensen, Sune Petersen, Kenneth, A.K.A. Lord Ambersand, Martin Kovdal Sinicola, følger af Lord Ambersand, Solius, A.K.A. Lady Ambersand, Claus Madsen, A.K.A. Mr. Madsen, Allan Jensen, Christian Abel Vestergaard, Søren GT Troelsen. Vi klarer den alle sammen. Hold kæft, mand. Ved I hvordan at man ved, man er i dårlig form? At man ikke kan læse sådan en lang liste op, uden at man sveder rigtig meget. Og det er det, jeg gør. Tak fordi I støtter. Tak fordi I støtter, helt seriøst. Det betyder alt for os. Og tusind tak fordi, at I har lyttet til den her episode. Gamescom-afsnittene er jo noget af det fedeste, vi laver hvert eneste år. Det er det faktisk. Så tak. Tusind tak til jer. Vi er tilbage igen snart med næste episode. Den sidste episode af Gamescom, og den skal I også glæde jer til. Der er nogle rimelig store stjerner, vi snakker med der. Vi er tilbage. Ikke lige efter det her, men næste gang. Tusind tak, fordi I lytter med.